My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling listener. Dave Ryan here. Have you ever wondered to yourself how many hidden gems are hidden away inside the last years of World Championship Wrestling? Have you ever asked yourself how many tenuous gags can be made about the name Mike Enos? And have you ever thought about what it sounds like for two Irishmen to interpret a very chaotic company through its B show? The answers to all this and more are just a click away. Check out Days of Thunder every second Thursday on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Thank you so much for supporting WWE and NXT and me. You're so sweet.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
Rich, if I want a puppet show, I'll go to a fucking puppet show!
And Rich Frage.
So are you ready for Roadblock End of the Line?
Roadblock, end of the line.
Roadblock End of the Line.
Roadblock, end of the line.
Roadblock End of the Line.
Roadblock, end of the line.
Roadblock End of the Line.
Roadblock, end of the line. Roadblock, end of the line. Roadblock, end of the line. Roadblock, end of the line.
Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line. Roadblock End of the Line.
Roadblock, end of the line. Roadblock, end of the line seems to have some buzz. A lot of buzz from Roadblock, end of the line.
It really does.
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is college football streaming legend Joe Lanza. Joe, what's happening? I think we might have issues with Joe. Let's see if he's on the line here. Joe, you still there?
Issues with Joe?
No, okay. You're
Am I not
on my
here?
screen. No, you're here. You're here. I think everybody else. Yeah, on my screen, you're just you're spinning. You're a wheel that's spinning, and I assumed that I was gonna go to you, and there was gonna be nothing, and then there you are. So I guess we're fine. So I will just ignore the spinning wheel on your name and just assume that everything is fine. So hello, college football streaming legend Joe Lanza.
I guess we're fine. I'll just wait to see if I'm on a delay. Am I on a delay?
I don't think so. Sounds good. Seems like we're talking.
You answered in a timely manner. I don't think I'm coming into you on a delay, so I think we're all good, and you can ignore the spinning wheel.
Yeah.
I couldn't ignore the spinning wheel on Sunday, as I had my worst streaming experience with YouTube TV's Sunday Ticket yet. In
it's not getting better? How can it not be getting better? We're in year 3, right? Year 3?
Year 3, it is in fact getting worse. Sunday was so bad that I eventually threw my hands, and as each TV progressively died, I just let them be dead, and I was down to
just a slow, painful death of each. All right, TV2 is out. Rest in peace.
Right,
Seahawks.
So
we're not watching the Seahawks.
Right, exactly. It's like we were up in the den watching, and as each TV would die, like TLB would point one out, and I'm like, oh, that was Browns Bengals. We're out. Let it go. We got to let it go. It's
the
gone.
battle for Ohio is over. Who cares? We move on. We have to move on. Yeah.
She's like, but I'm like, check your phone. It's if you want the score, check your phone. It's over. We got to let it go. Well, we got to leave some of these behind. So, by the end of the early window, I had 3 buffering wheels going and like 1 TV working. It's just a fucking disaster. It's just now. Look, I understand my situation's unique. And I'm asking a lot out of my internet, but still, so these things should just fucking work is the bottom line. They should just work, Rich. It's as simple as that. You know, it shouldn't be, oh, what's your internet speed? Or, oh, what are you doing with the... No, it should just...
Yeah, it's 2025, and that's the only way to watch Sunday Ticket, and you pay them money to watch it. It feels like you should just be able to watch it. Hot take.
Pay a lot of money, hundreds of dollars. I feel like it should just work. So whatever. As long as it's not the fucking Rams game. If the TVs die, the TVs die. I'm not going to sit there and fight the battle of the buffering wheels all day like I used to, because it just stresses me out and makes me angry.
Because there's no way to get it. There's no other way there's no other method to watch out of market national games. Then, right? NFL. That's
YouTube
it. You have
TV
to YouTube. Is it okay?
That's it. Exclusive home of Sunday Ticket. YouTube TV.
Okay.
Fucking pile of shit. I never had these problems with DirectTV, my friend. And let me tell you something. You know, the bars and the restaurants, they still receive the Sunday Ticket through DirectTV because you can't have fucking Fire Sticks on your 30.
Yeah, okay, I was wondering that because there's a bar near me that's always packed on Sundays. It's a big time football bar, and on their board outside it says NFL Sunday Ticket, and I was thinking, man, are they just throwing up like 15 Fire Sticks on all those, or have a bunch of smart TVs? I thought I figured that would be hard to pull off, or kind of weird to pull off. And I was like, what kind of internet is this place? Because it's not exactly a fancy place. Let me tell you, it's cheap. Right under the NFL Sunday Ticket, it tells you all the beers that you can get for $3. You know what I mean? So it's a cheap bar place where you go to just hang out and watch the game. And I was very surprised. I said NFL Sunday Ticket. I thought of that literally today as I was driving by and saying, like, man, are they really on YouTube TV on that bar? Like, that seems kind of hard to believe, but now you're telling me no, they are still getting a feed.
No. The NFL is still in business with DirectTV as they provide the Sunday Ticket feed for, and that's the case for a lot of these.
Why can you not get this? You have 4 TVs. It's a den. That's essentially a bar. Like, so you need me to come over and drink beer, and then it can officially be declared a bar.
Well, that's the bit I was going to do. I am tempted to call DirectTV and see if I can maneuver them. I would literally pay double for the package if I could just get it through DirectTV
right.
instead of YouTube TV.
Because you had no problem paying, like, because how much was Sunday Ticket before this YouTube TV switch?
I don't know. It's like 400 or something. I don't know. I don't know exact numbers, but let's say it's 400. I think it's like 389 or something. Let's call it 4.
Is that what it was?
I would pay
when it was DirectTV too, or was it a lot cheaper?
Yes, okay. Very expensive.
So,
very expensive.
So relatively similar prices.
Similar price. I would pay DirectTV $1,000 if I could have the bar feed and just watch it through DirectTV and just get rid of this YouTube TV shit. The problem is, they probably can't legally, obviously they can't legally do that, but it was just so much more. You know what I want to do on Sunday morning? I want to wake up, stretch my arms out, 5 minutes to 12. I want to wake up and stretch my arms out.
11:53, yeah, Joseph.
Right. Yeah. And I just want to hit channel 708. Okay, there's Washington and the Giants. TV number 2, 709. There's Cleveland and Cincinnati. That's all I want to do, Rich. I don't want to, because now what I have to do, here's what I have to do. I have to go to the TV with like the smart TV, like the remote for the TV, right? Because I have the YouTube TV app on the smart TV, right? You following me?
I got you.
So I gotta take the remote. I have to put it right on the fucking sensor and then block it with an index card. Because if I don't do that, it like the other TVs respond to the remote as well. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a fucking disaster. So if I'm not blocking it with the index, and then I got to go to YouTube TV every Sunday when I go to set the games up, YouTube TV on all 4 of my TVs makes me redo the fucking scan on my phone to relog into the fucking app.
That happens every time I watch a streaming thing. And my wife thinks I'm doing it, and I'm not. She'll be like, let's watch this. I'm like, all right, so cool. I punch it up, and it's like, log in. Okay, get my phone, scan the QR code. Yeah. And by the time she does it, she's done eating. Code. She's done eating and already wants to go to bed. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. She's like, we didn't even watch anything. I was like, I know. I tried. It took me, a couple minutes to get everything set up, and we get our dinner ready, and I sit down, and then, all right, wait, hold on, let me get my phone. Let me scan the QR code. Let me try to do all this sort of stuff. And I try to do a no phone. I try to be a no phone guy at the home as much as I possibly can be. So a lot of times I'll put the phone in another room. I'll put it away because it's like, this is quality time with you and I. And it's like, nope, here we go. I got to go run over to the other room, grab my phone, scan the QR code, sign in. Oh, wait, 2-factor authentication. So here we go. What's the code? Put the code in. All right, here we go. All right, now that for some reason that didn't work. Let me try it again. Okay, there we go. It worked. And by that point, she's done with her meal and is like, I'm going to go take a bath. I'm going to go to bed. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's fair.
And half the time with these, especially Apple TV is the worst one, but half the time you scan the QR code and then they send you the confirmation email to make sure it was you scanning the QR code.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, if somebody wants to fucking watch Ted Lasso on my account that badly, let them. Just get me into this fucking app so I can watch what I'm trying to watch. I don't care if someone's trying to watch Ted Lasso on my fucking account.
Yeah, I had somebody who was in my HBO Max account for it was like a half a year before I changed the password.
Who cares?
Because I was like, whatever. Because they were watching whatever they were watching. So I do my continue watching. It would be like, continue your watching. And like half the shows would be what I was watching and half or whatever this person was watching. And I was like, you know what, whatever. It's fine. Like, it's cool. It's because it was clearly, it was like not even, it was like Spanish language stuff. And it was clearly somebody that was very different taste than me. So I'm sure the HBO Max algorithm was so confused. But I was just like, whatever. I'm not going to change all the passwords. I don't want to have to re-log in everything. So you know what? If you want to watch a couple of shows occasionally on my HBO Max, I don't care. Eventually, I had to decide, okay, I think I need to wall this person off. But honestly, it's fine. It's okay. If somebody wants to log in.
Listen, it doesn't matter how many remember me boxes you check. This process repeats. So picture my Sunday mornings. I wake up at 11:55, 5 minutes before the game starts. I'm in my underwear. The Reds probably lost an extra innings the night before, so I'm grumpy anyway. I wander into the den to set up the TVs, and I'm met with the sign in or log in to YouTube TV. Welcome, new person. And then I have to do the QR code. And then I do that, and then it sends the gimmick to my phone to confirm that it's really me. And now it does this new thing, too. It says, please confirm your zip code so we know which games to black out.
We got to black you out. We got to black you out, sir.
Right. So then I got to confirm my zip code. And mind you, I have to do this 4 times. I have to do this on all 4 TVs. And mind you, I have to do this while blocking the remote, the infrared, from the other TVs because they're all the same. They're all Samsung TVs. So one remote will change. Will do. You see what I'm saying?
One thing you could possibly do, and I'm not a very experienced NFL watcher these days, but you still get the CBS and do you get? Well, I get CBS and Fox. I assume you get the CBS and Fox too.
Yes, I get the one local game per window that occupies one TV. Yes.
Okay.
So So in other words, like especially, Dallas is on every week and my wife is a Dallas fan. So the Cowboy game's on one of the TVs, regardless, on the local feed, which is a fucking dream. Because all I have to do
hit a button
is hit channel 44 Fox on the fucking remote, and there's never a buffering wheel, there's never a problem, and we just watch the fucking game. Okay? But so then I have to do this process every fucking Sunday morning. And then I meticulously set up all the quad boxes to make sure I have every game on, because if there's 8 games in the window, I might have the one local game on one TV. Then I figure it out. So I have every game somewhere, right, on the TVs. Then I plop my ass down to enjoy 7 hours of football. And within 10 minutes, one of the TVs is buffering. Without fail, one of the TVs is buffering. Now, could I get up and restart the process? Because here's what I got to do. Let's say there's 4 games on that TV in the quad box and it starts buffering. Well, I got to go over there, get my fucking index card again so I'm not affecting the other TVs that are operating off the app, hit back in the app, back out of the 4 games, and then reprogram the 4 boxes again for the 4 games Rich, who can deal with this all day long? Who can fucking deal? So now I just let them buffer and die. They died. They're gone. They're gone. Forget it. They're out. Those TVs are out. Those games are gone forever. And we're left with what we're left. It's like being on a battlefield and your buddy gets his leg blown off. And it's like, you know what? He's going to die anyway. We got to leave him. I'm sorry. I know it's hard. This is what we signed up for. He's got to stay. It's too bad.
Yeah, just big cannonballs being shot from across the hill. And just boom. It's like, all right, that one's gone.
Yeah. It's just so awful. It's so awful that it's funny now. And I'm just like, look, the Rams were on the Rams played the Texans. So we were on local TV this week. So that was a fucking dream. I just had to put channel 10 CBS out of Waco, nice and easy. But, and I just laughed off the rest. But it is what it is. I mean, when the Rams are fucking on the ticket, which is going to be most weeks, I don't know what I'm going to do. The fucking shit better work. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. It should just work. And it just doesn't work. Again, I understand my situation's unique. I'm trying to do 4 TVs at once. I got kids on fucking iPads and PlayStations and a wife in the other room watching Love Island on Netflix. I get it. Okay, there's a lot going on in here. I'm not an internet expert. Should that matter? All those different things going on, or does it not matter? I don't know. I just assume it matters.
Well, here's the thing, and it relates to, and it's going to relate to wrestling here by next week, most likely, with this ESPN thing, because we don't know how the fuck that's going to go. I mean, I assume ESPN's infrastructure for WrestlePalooza will be fine and will be good to go, but people trying to figure out and log in, because I think a lot of people still are under the assumption that, hey, my cable's going to get me to log into it, and so God only knows if I don't know if they've done a good job of onboarding people yet for this ESPN app whatsoever. By the way, I don't know if I don't think Xfinity is locked up with them yet. I don't think any. I don't know if any cable company has been announced as being ready to go with the fucking ESPN streamer. So again, this is going to happen for wrestling fans next week as well. But it's just a constant. It's. And this was addressed. I mean, this was addressed this week by Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, who was asked by a reporter, how for fans, especially if you're an out-of-market fan, it used to be a little expensive. If you were an out-of-market fan, okay, it kind of sucked, but you could get NBA League Pass, Sunday Ticket, Center Ice, I think was what the hockey one was called or whatever. There was options. If you were an out-of-market fan, you had to suck it up and pay a couple $100 a year to get the package, to get everything, or if you really wanted to, you go and steal a stream or something like that. But for most people, they just said, fuck it. I live in here and I'm a fan of this team. Fuck it. I'll pay $400 for Center Ice all year or whatever.
Sports is my hobby. I'll pay whatever. I don't care.
Right. And a lot of people agree. Yeah. Especially if you're a big enough fan of whatever team you are, the fact that you move somewhere else and you still want to follow your team, you're probably going to eat shit and say, yeah, you know what? $500. I'll pay that to watch the Bulls. I live in, South Carolina now, but I still want to watch the Chicago Bulls. Fuck it. I'll pay for NBA League Pass or whatever.
Which listen, by the way, Sunday Ticket's the only one that's that exorbitantly priced. I had an NBA League Pass is $99.
Well, the online is the online one, or because the TV one is more, right?
I have no idea. The one I buy is $99.
Okay, you buy the online one. Guess what? Never fucking ever worked for me. I don't buy the online one once. Never once did the NBA online one ever work for me. Ever. It would.
Oh, the online, yeah.
Never. I told you about this.
Why don't you just get it on your cable? Yeah, I'm sure your cable system sells it. Why don't you just
Here's the thing. I get enough. There's enough national games on. Well, in the past there was. This might change, obviously, with Amazon or whatever. But in the past, there was enough national games on, and I got Bulls games locally. So I was more than okay. Or what I would do is, with my cable, NBA TV is really good. If you watch NBA TV at night, MLB's this way too. If you go on MLB Network at night, they're just going to give you a bunch of games. Like if you normally I'm able to sit down and watch TV at 8 p.m. or whatever. So if you went to MLB Network or NBA TV, or I imagine NHL is this way as well, they're going to do some sort of studio show where they're bouncing between a bunch of different games, or we're locked in on this game, which it's a tie ball game with a minute left or whatever, or it's the 9th inning and there's that, so that's fine. That I had no problem with that. Or I would just say whatever, I'll just watch whatever the national TV games are. So it was never a problem for me. But there was a while there where that League Pass was so cheap, and then one year I got it for free from I forget how, and I was like, all right, cool, here we go. And it just literally never worked for me ever. I would start the game. It would always start the game perfectly. I'd watch the game for a second, and it would go to commercial. And I think I talked about this on the Flagship before. It would go to commercial, and it would just never leave that commercial. It would just sit there and just give me infinite commercials, and then I'd have to back out, go back into the app, restart the game, and then the game would start again. And I'd be like, oh my God. Yes. And I don't know if you've watched the NBA ever, but there are a lot of commercials, especially towards the end of a basketball game. So it would be very bad. Yeah. This one, the Sherman area got it perfect. They gave League Pass away for free accidentally because there was some weird loophole where all you had to do was vote on the color of Jason Tatum's shoes, and that's how you got League Pass for free. That's exactly how I got League Pass for free. Yes. It was like, what color shoes should Jason Tatum wear on? And I was like, green. And it's like, here you go. It was some glitch, and a lot of people got it. It's fine. It worked out perfect. But yeah, it never ever worked.
They honored that?
They did. Yeah,
why would they honor that? Why wouldn't they take it away from you after a week?
Yeah, whatever. No problem for me. And then I looked online, and a lot of other people were like, oh, yeah, you got the commercial thing too? And everyone's like, no, you got to get this thing and that thing and this thing and that thing. I had a Fire Stick. I bought a Google Chromecast. I bought a fucking this thing and a that thing. And I just eventually said, you know what? I don't care enough. I don't need to watch the Utah Jazz that badly while I'm doing the Flagship. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I'm okay. I'll watch whatever's on national TV, and I'll watch my beloved Chicago Bulls, which, by the way, I couldn't watch the Chicago Bulls last year. I forgot because I couldn't get the fucking network. Remember that? Me with the rabbit ears? Trying to get the Bulls games. Yeah. It's like, why are you making it so hard for sports fans to watch their sports? And Adam Silver stands up there and is asked the question, why are you making it, which is, again, it's really, you know, a good contrast to what WWE, or comparison, I should say, to WWE, because Adam Silver's asked, you know, why are you making it so hard for your fans to watch the games? And he essentially just says, fuck off, watch the highlights then. In no uncertain terms. Like, he does it in a little bit more of a, you know, a little bit more business-like manner, but is essentially just like, I don't know, tough shit. Watch national games or watch highlights.
No, he literally said that. They asked him, what do you say to someone who has to pay so much money to watch their local team? He said, well, there's plenty of free national broadcast games, and also we're a highlight league, is what he said. I mean, that's an amazing answer from a league commissioner to basically say, fuck you, you don't have to watch the games. Just go watch the highlights on TikTok. Yeah. Good enough. It's crazy.
And WWE, and I don't know if you saw Ari Emanuel this weekend, was essentially asked about ticket prices, and he was like, yeah, Vince McMahon, again, I'm paraphrasing here, not exactly, but the quote was basically, Vince McMahon was dumb and was charging it so that families could come, and I don't really give a shit. I just want to make as much money as possible. It's just like, this is what we're living with now. Yeah. This is it. Like, the mask is off. Well, it's just like tough shit. If you want to watch WWE, you pay us $1,000. You want to go to a show? Fuck you. Too bad.
Well, here, look, I'm going to give you your solution again. You never listen to me because every year, League Pass is $99 on your cable, sir. $99.
No way. No way. It's $99 on my cable.
It's $99. Listen to me.
No way.
I don't even listen to me. I don't even watch the NBA, but I buy League Pass every year because it's only $99, which basically means it's free. So I just get it every year because it's so cheap.
Let's see.
It's $99.
I don't trust you.
It's $99 on DirectTV.
I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
Okay, go ahead and look it up.
Let's see. All right, the ultimate fan experience. Let's see here. No, how do I get this shit? I don't see how I pay. Where do I want to pay for this thing?
NBA League Pass is available as a seasonal subscription or monthly add-on through DirectTV account, with the full season price being $99.99.
Xfinity, sir. I don't know. Are they charging something different for Xfinity? I don't know.
It's not going to be. What do you think it's going to be? $600 on Xfinity? It's going to be about $99.
I feel like it's more expensive.
It's going to be about it's going to be roughly the same price, sir. It's not going to be significantly different.
I'll be the judge of that. I'll have to go on there and find out.
Hold on. I'll tell you right now. I don't know why you're taking so long. Okay, here we go. It's $99 on Xfinity.
How are you finding that?
Here it is. Hold on. Xfinity offers its own NBA League Pass add-on for approximately $16.99 a month, or $109.99 a year. It's $10 more.
$109. That's a big difference.
Oh, here comes Creaky Craich with the fucking wallet that won't open.
Hold on a minute.
$109.99. Okay, you want? Okay,
that's not bad.
To solve this for you, I will send you the $10.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
I'll do that for you. I want you to be a happy NBA viewer. Because you're not getting my price, I will send you the $10. Okay? I just order the fucking thing. MLB Extra Innings is $139. They're not expensive. Only fucking Sunday Ticket is expensive. That's the only one that's expensive. And these other ones work better because I don't have to fucking go to YouTube TV. It says, oh, I want to watch the Blazers and the Pelicans. It's on channel 756. Rich, I put on channel 756, and wouldn't you know it, there's the Blazers and the Pelicans.
There
Crystal
is.
Clear HD. Yep. Crystal clear. And on channel 757 is the fucking Pelicans home feed. I can pick the Blazers home feed or the Pelicans home feed.
Well, Antonio Daniels. You want a little Antonio Daniels in your life? You got it. There you go.
Maybe I want Antonio Daniels on a Wednesday night instead of who's the Blazer guy?
That guy. I forget his name.
The guy used to be. No, their studio guy used to be on ESPN, Larry Beal. Instead of Larry Beal at the desk at the Portland games, maybe I want Antonio Daniels calling the Pelican feed, and it's $99, and all I got to do is put the fucking channel on. I used to live that life with the NFL, but they won't let us live that life with the NFL anymore because they got to go chase every nickel, and YouTube TV gave them a nickel more than DirectTV did. So, that's how it goes. We see that with TKO all the time. So, what the fuck ever. But speaking of streaming, you brought it up at the top. I am, in fact, streaming College Football 26. But see, if people want to watch that, they got to sign up for the Discord because that's the only – I do the unlisted links on YouTube. You're not going to find it on YouTube. You got to sign up for the Discord, and you got to go to the CFB 26 Dynasty channel on the Discord. And that's where I put the links, and that's where you can follow along with my Kent State Dynasty on College Football 26. People are having a lot of fun with it. So, I talk through the fucking mic. I talk shit during the games. People talk shit to my play calling and strategy. And there you go. So that's how you can watch me play College Football 26. But you got to sign up. Look, see, I'm getting people to sign up for the Discord.
Exactly. Plug a ruse. Voicesofwrestling.com/Discord to do that. You can sign up to the Discord. And yeah, College CFB 26 Dynasty is the where you want to go for that. Yeah, good discussions too.
The thing,
a lot of talk. A lot of good talk.
What, with the college football? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That channel's jumping, man.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's talking about their dynasty and what they're doing, their play calling. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's an intelligent
I've inspired people to buy the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, Rich, here's the other thing. If you buy the damn league pass with your Xfinity, as long as you do one NBA Intelligentsia, you can fucking write it off.
Yeah, Ash said right now we can both write it off. We're good right now.
Absolutely.
This discussion, right? You bring up Antonio Daniels and then whatever. What was the guy, Blazers guy?
That's a good point. Larry Beal.
I mean, that's deep. Now we're not just doing surface level. We're actually in the weeds. You can tell. You know what I mean? We're talking hoops. We're bringing up names of studio guys and color commentators. We're in the weeds there. You know what I mean? Bulls signed Josh Giddey to a deal that he doesn't deserve at all. There we go. We're talking hoops already. So, yeah, this is a write-off, man. We're doing well here.
Actually, Larry Beal might be the Warriors desk guy. I might be confused. But either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, who gives a shit? There's some Blazers fan in here who might know. Michael Horrigan will listen eventually, and he'll let us know who the Blazers studio host is. I think it's Larry Beal, but it might not be. Who knows? But point is, it's don't go with the hokey online one. Why stress yourself?
No, you're right. Because every year at the beginning of the year when they do that preview, it's really nice. It's really nice to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And you got like 5 games to choose from, and you're just like, I mean, it's always the Blazers. By the way, it's always the Blazers, and it's fine. But it's okay because you're like, because the national game is usually like the Warriors and the Kings and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I'm like, I want something different. So I'm like, fuck yeah, Blazers, let's go. Like, because they're never on national TV.
I must have watched 40 Blazers games last year because they're just always on.
Yeah.
I feel like they play a 160 game schedule because they're on every night at like standalone at like 11:30. It's, the Blazers are playing the fucking Grizzlies or something like every fucking night. And the MLB extra innings, when you buy that through your cable or satellite, it comes with MLB TV as part of the price. So it's like, I don't know why anybody wouldn't do that. Well, I guess if you don't have a cable or satellite package, you can't do it. But you're getting that too. So it just comes with it. So I don't know. They all blow away the NFL. I'm not happy with it. Now, look, every week one seems to be a disaster. There's always issues on week one, which again, though, Rich, we're in year 3. We're in year 3 and you're Google. Figure it out. How does Google of all companies not have this figured out?
Can you customize the quad box yet? I know that was a problem for the last couple of years. Can I get whatever 4 games I want or no?
You could. Okay.
I'm not going to. Please? I don't care, by the way, but go on.
You could always customize the quad box. And if you scrolled far enough, you can get any game you wanted to in the quad box. That was a total myth that you couldn't put what you wanted in the quad box. People were just like, I don't see my combination. Yeah, you got to keep. Here's the thing. You have to keep
so they gave you every combination possible, so you just had to keep going and going and going and going until you found the combo that you wanted.
Yes, but here was the catch. Okay, let's say you find the 4 games you want to watch, and you pick like the Raiders Seahawks as your starting point, and then you have to look for the combination with the other 3. Are you following me so far?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You might not have that combination. You have to then get rid of Raiders Seahawks and start with one of the other ones. And then look for. Do you see what I'm saying? And then
okay.
Eventually, eventually you're going to find your combination. You might just have to start with different games to find every combination. That's how it was. So I know that for a fact because week 1 of the first year, because I'm the only person interested in this stupid shit, I made sure that every combination was possible because I wanted to come on the air and complain about. I wanted them not to be possible, so I could complain about it.
Right. So come and bitch about it, yeah.
Because I want to rant and rave about it. So I made sure for the first few weeks that every combo was there, and it was. It's just sometimes your starting point has to be one of the other games because they don't give you an infinite number of choices for each starting point. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense?
I got it.
So some of the other combinations, you just have to start with a different game. So yeah, all the combinations are there on the dopey quad box, but it doesn't matter because it's going to buffer on you within 10 minutes anyway. So you're going to be watching nothing soon enough on the quad box. So
and anyway, my cable just recently, they have some quad thing that you can do now with college football games or whatever. And it's fine. I watched it for a minute and I was just like, it's not a very fun way to watch a game, to be honest. Not a fan.
Of the what?
It's like so they have this, they're launching it. It's like this Xfinity thing where you can do, it's called like multi-view. It's called Xfinity multi-view or whatever. And you can click it and it's if there's 4 college football games going on at the same time, it'll show you all 4 or whatever. Yeah. And like, I did it once and I was like, I'm all right. It might do the same thing for the NFL. I have no idea, but.
Here's the thing about watching 4 college football games at once. Okay. If you don't want to watch any of them to begin with, it's not useful to you. So like, that's the catch. Like you weren't interested in those 4 games. So
right.
It's like, all right.
It was like these pre-selected ones or whatever. And I was like, I don't care. Yeah, like 2 of the games were blowouts and they were boring. And I was like, I kind of want to go watch a sicko game. Like to me, it's much more fun to get onto a channel and watch like especially sicko college football games are great. Like when you're just like, all right, let's see what San Jose State's got here. Like they're down 30, but they might be able to do this. Or, I was watching some random, what the hell was I watching? Week 1. It was like a week 1 and everything else had stopped. It was Sunday, week 1 Sunday when college football was running on Sunday that night because the NFL wasn't going. And all the games ended. And then me and my buddy found on NFL Network, Virginia Union versus, oh God, who were they facing? Some ridiculous. It was like the College Football Hall of Fame game or something like that. It was really weird and nobody was there. And we just watched Virginia Union versus like this random ass team for like 2 hours and got really invested in it.
See, I can't watch non-Division 1. I can't do it.
Yeah, well, we got desperate here. We got a little desperate here.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Here's Jordan Smith in the chat. So this guy this could have been the reason there was confusion too. Here's what he says. You couldn't do custom quad boxes on regular YouTube TV, non-Sunday ticket in the past, but they let you do custom quad boxes now. So, okay, if you just had YouTube TV, you couldn't do custom quad boxes. But if you had Sunday ticket on YouTube TV and you did what I said and really put the effort in, you can do the custom quad boxes.
Got it.
So there's the answer. That probably led to some confusion too, because people don't know what they have. That's the other thing. Like this is the problem WWE is going to run into on the 20th. People aren't going to have the right ESPN streaming package, and they're going to think that they do have the right one, and they're not going to be able to see their WrestlePalooza. Then they're going to realize that they have to pay the extra. What is it? $10, $15, $30,
$29.99. Yeah. So I looked at the list. I just popped this up. List is exactly the same as when we first talked about ESPN Unlimited when it launched. DirectTV, parentheses, streaming only, Fubo TV, Hulu plus Live TV, Spectrum, and Verizon are still the only TV providers linked up with ESPN Unlimited.
Right. So people who don't have those or don't have any cable at all, a lot of these people are going to think who, if they're not sports fans and don't know about the ESPN app and aren't like us who follow this, whether it was wrestling or not, we would understand these details. They're going to think that they could just order whatever the ESPN thing, and then they're going to be hit with the $30 upcharge. And they're, a lot of people are going to be surprised by that. And I think it's going to cause a big problem, but we'll see. And then, we'll see how the stream is and all. It should be fine because I generally don't have problems with that app. I only use it once a year, but the confusion, these things are never easy to understand. where, what package things are airing on and what you have to. So, I think it's going to be a mess, but.
Oh, it was an absolute mess. I don't know if you remember when it first launched on our Discord. Again, another plug for our Discord. People were signing up for the ESPN and being like, all right, I'm in. Yeah, I got it. And we're like, no, you don't actually have it. They're like, yeah, I have it. We're like, no, you check for this game. You don't have this game. And they're like, no, I have it. And then they click, oh, wait, no, I don't have it. I have this game. Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like the ESPN Plus games are different than the ESPN Unlimited games. And ESPN has done such a horrible job of rolling it out. And as far as I've seen, WWE hasn't really done any education on that either. They're basically just like, well, figure it out. I don't know. It's going to be up to ESPN to kind of lead people through this. But from everything that I've seen and everything that I've read, nobody can quite figure out if they're even getting like once you sign in, it's like, okay, how am I different? How is this ESPN Unlimited different than my ESPN Plus? What do I have access to? What can I watch? So come that Saturday, it's going to be wild. I think it's going to be pretty tough because, like you're saying, there's going to be people that are going to slap their hands together at 6:55 and say, "All right, time to watch WrestlePalooza on ESPN," and then it's like, oh, all right, now here's this arduous task of signing on and signing up, and do I get it for free? No, it's $30. Wait, but I thought I could get it free through my cable. Okay, wait, no, I have ESPN Plus, so I'll be fine. I can get in. Wait, no, I don't get this show because I'm not on ESPN. It's been a mess, and nobody seems to give a fuck. You know what I mean? This is really what we've gotten to in 2025 is ultimately these leagues and these companies and TKO and WWE, they don't really give a fuck. It's like, well, I don't know, tough shit. Figure it out. They're making it very difficult to watch their product, and I don't know. Eventually, I feel like that's got to happen. It's got to come to a point at some point, but I don't know.
Well, WWE definitely doesn't give a fuck. The money is guaranteed for them. They don't give a shit. So it's up to ESPN to simplify. But look, ESPN has already changed the name of the thing twice.
Yeah,
it's just
the day of they launched that ESPN Unlimited. Everyone's like, "What? You never said that once?" Oh,
ESPN Flagship. And then it was Flagship, right? And then it became
so actually, I guess it technically was three names. It was Flagship, and then whoever I forget the guy who's in charge of ESPN was like, we're just going to call it ESPN, so it'll be seamless through all of our. So then everybody had to be like, well, now we have to write direct to consumer ESPN every single time that we talk about this ESPN. And not because he was just like, oh, just call it ESPN because it'll make sense across our whole platform or whatever. But it doesn't, because when you're writing an article or whatever talking about this new platform, this new streamer ESPN, you couldn't say launching on ESPN because it's like, well, ESPN's the television network. So then everybody just started saying direct to consumer ESPN or whatever. It was like, it's like the early days of X, when everybody had to do X parentheses formerly known as Twitter. And it's like, if you have to do that every time, it's just not work. Your new name doesn't work. We've kind of gotten over that, and people just sometimes say X now. Some people still just call it Twitter. Doesn't matter. But the ESPN thing was like very confusing because it was calling it the same thing as the network. So then when they launched, they said, okay, it's called ESPN Unlimited, which was never once communicated ever. Only people found out about it when they signed on for the first time to find out it's called quote unquote ESPN Unlimited. So it's just, and look, even worse, when they launched this fucking thing, they had a bunch of different cable networks. Oh, if you have Xfinity, you're good. If you have this, you're good. If you have this, you're good. And then that has all been updated after the first day. It was like, oh, well, no, we don't have deals with those people. You can't sign it with Xfinity yet. I mean, eventually maybe you can. And we're, they've been launched for a couple weeks now, and it's still DirectTV, Fubo, or DirectTV, DirectTV parentheses streaming only. Fubo, Hulu, Spectrum, and Verizon is still the only cable quote unquote networks that you can link up with. So I don't know if the other ones are just playing hardball or what, but again, it's going to be a big wake up call on that Saturday. And I don't know, it's going to be, Peacock was relatively easy to get on. WWE Network had a lot of faults, but it was relatively easy to figure out. This one, man, we're deep in the weeds. We're as deep in the weeds as you can be, especially you and I on this show, because we follow sports TV as well in the sports business world or whatever. So we kind of understand a little bit more about this. And even you and I think, are pretty confused about this ESPN Unlimited thing and ESPN Select and ESPN Plus.
I've got a decent handle on it now. I'm not paying $30.
No, fuck them. Fuck that.
I'm watching Baked.tv, baby, for these WWE shows.
Is Justin TV still around? I'm going back to Justin.
Sure.
TV.
Sure it is. Because I can't justify it, man. There's nothing else on there I'm ever going to watch on this ESPN thing.
Yeah, I'm taking this shit back to 2011, man. I'm going to watch Dolph Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio on Justin TV or whatever. So. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's, and especially WrestlePalooza, because I won't be, well, I guess AEW did change the time, so I could watch it live, I guess. But because AEW would be the priority live, because, we do the post shows and everything. And plus, I just like AEW more, so I'm always going to choose it live when it's head to head with WWE. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I did just the ESPN thing. There's really nothing else on the $30 upcharged version of it.
No,
right? It's just
I don't think so. I think because you use it to watch sicko college basketball games. Usually,
ESPN Plus.
Yeah, you use ESPN Plus, which is now ESPN Select.
I think. Will be ESPN Select.
So you're good. Like if you just want to continue watching sicko, MIAC games or whatever, I think you're still good.
Yeah, because ESPN Plus, which is soon to be ESPN Select, that definitely comes with your cable subscription.
Yes,
or at least it did with mine. Okay, so exactly for 1 week a year, I would re-log in because, of course, it wouldn't circling all the way back, Rich. It wouldn't remember my login information.
Oh, that's one of the classic ones. ESPN Plus is a classic one. Never ever remembers anything.
Yeah. So I'd log back into ESPN Plus to watch the first week of March Madness with the low-level mid-major conference tournaments. And that's it. It's the only time of year I would use it. There's really nothing else on there I need to see, because anything that's on one of the ESPN channels, I just have on my TV. So I don't need the ESPN Plus for that. And I'm not watching whatever dopey bonus content. I don't need some Mike Krzyzewski documentary that they might have as an exclusive on ESPN Plus. I'm never watching that, so I just don't care enough. So
you don't watch sicko college basketball games during the year though. Like you're not checking in on.
No, there's plenty. I mean, how deep do you have to go? There's 100 games a night on. I don't need to go into.
That's ESPN true. Yeah, when you include like your CBS sports networks and your FS2s and whatever.
Here's what you're forgetting. All of those channels, but I also pay for all the RSN. I pay for the RSN package.
Oh, so that's right. So you're getting everything. Yeah. If you want Cal Poly basketball, you got it, baby.
It's probably on. Like I can look every now and then. There's a game that I really want to watch that is on ESPN Plus, but it is so rare and maybe even not even once a season. I mean, it's just incredibly rare until it's tournament time. But the worst is when there's a game out when Peacock has a random game, and like they'll have a random Georgetown game will be on Peacock, and I'll sit down at noon and I'll try FS1. I'll try CBS Sports Network. I'll try CBS. I'll try ESPN. I'm like, where the fuck is the Georgetown game? And then I'll remember, it's on fucking Peacock. And then by the time I remember and log into Peacock, it's at the under 12 timeout in the first half. And I missed like 8 minutes of the game because I've been looking for it for 20 minutes. So, but I'll tell you what, the Peacock stream is beautiful for college basketball. It is pristine. I will give them that. It's not as good as the Apple TV MLB stream. That's the best stream.
I've heard that one's crystal clear. Yeah, I've heard that one's really good.
The Apple TV baseball stream is so good that the first year people thought it was 4K, but it isn't. It's not 4K. It's just gorgeous. It's just an amazing video stream. I get White Sox games in 4K because Dodgers, White Sox, and Red Sox broadcast in 4K locally. And if you have extra innings, you get those games in 4K on the DirectTV 4K channels.
Oh, there it is.
So I watch I actually put the White Sox on the big TV a lot simply because if the Reds aren't on, I'm putting on a game that's in 4K. And so a lot of the times it's the White Sox. Plus I bet the over, which they did hit, by the way.
Oh, they did. 57 and 90. They're just a plain old bad team these days. It's not, and there's some potential there. I'll tell you, optimism is it's running high on the South Side. I'll tell you that. Colson Montgomery's looking good. The starting pitching looks okay. There's some germ of some talent, and there's a germ of a team that could maybe be good at some point. There's something there.
Yeah, they're doing. Yeah, they're they got some potential future players on that team now. So, they'll win what? They'll win like 64 games when it's all said and done, right? What are they at now?
57 and 90. 57 and 90.
Yeah, they're going to win like 64, 65 games. That's not awful. Like that's not Rockies awful. That's not White Sox last year awful. That's not a 40-win team anymore. They're just, like you said, a run-of-the-mill bad team.
Yeah, they're just a bad team with young players, and that I'll take. So I've been watching a lot of them as well. So it's been much nicer.
Well, you got some guys they've got some players worth investing some time in.
Yeah. Like last year, you were watching all these guys, and you knew that when this team is good again, none of these guys are going to be on this team ever again. These shit bum guys, not a single one of these dudes will be on this team when they're good again. Now it's like, all right, when this team is good again, Colson Montgomery will most likely be in the heart of the lineup. You know what I mean? Like a couple of these dudes are going to be in the heart of a lineup of the next potentially good White Sox team. That was not the case last year.
Right. Yeah, the catcher, Teal, and Montgomery.
Yeah, there's some dudes.
A few guys.
They got some dudes
that could be on the next competitive team, is what you're saying. Miguel Vargas came, did some good things this year. He's a guy who could be on the next decent team. Yeah, you're right. So, and of course, Martin Perez, who's back from his injury.
And pitching well.
And of course, this part of the conversation is directed towards one person and one person only, because that's the kind of podcast we do around here. As of course, we're going to bring up what is Martin Perez? You know what?
Why don't you go look? Yeah, why don't you go look
on Martin Perez? And I'm just at it for no reason at all. I want to see what his current earned run average is.
Now, he did miss a considerable chunk of the year. We should note that, but anyway.
He did. He is his current earned run average. I believe I predicted a 3.7. Is that correct, Rich Crate?
I believe was the number 3.7. Yeah,
3.7, 3.8, something like that. And I was told that I was insane. His current earned run average is 3.15.
Oh, he'd have to have a couple bad games to get to 3.7. Yeah, he's good.
Well, what you're probably thinking is, but what's his field independent pitching? Because that's a true indicator of a player's ERA, right? So why don't we check in on that? It's 3.89, right where I said it would be. So Martin Perez, average pitcher.
Having a hell of a year. And by the way, that was he was doing better. I want to say his ERA, unfortunately, because he has. If you look at his game, I don't know if you're still on the page or you close it. His game log will tell the tale. I want to say he was in the twos.
I had it bookmarked. Of course, I'm still on the page.
He was in the twos for a while, but his last game, I forget who he was against. Maybe I think it was Detroit or something like that. He gave up like it was like a couple innings with 6 runs or whatever. So that really spiked the ERA up a little bit. But yeah, he was hovering around the twos there for a while. So, but
yeah, so he was going into his last start. He was at 2.16.
Yeah. Oh, man.
As you, a White Sox fan, have noted, he went 4 innings and gave up 6 earned runs in his last start, which bumped his ERA up a full run.
Yeah.
Because he's only got
45
innings pitched. So,
yeah, right.
But
that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
That's the Martin Perez update, because, man, do we not forget things around here. We do not forget things.
We've tried in the years that this show has grown on, there used to be a time where we would do an entire show because one guy on Twitter replied to us and we were mad about it. And the entire show, we would do 3 hours basically speaking to one person the entire time. We have grown out of that a little bit, but you can't completely, you got to still keep that alive a little bit. There's going to be a reply. There's going to be an argument in the Discord that I'm going to get mad about, and we're going to do half of our show about it. So, you know what I mean? Like it's just, you can't get that out of us. But we don't do all 3 hours based off one person. Because we used to literally come on here and be like, yeah, so people are saying it was always just like one guy, and we would spend the entire show, defending Will Ospreay or defending, Hiroshi Tanahashi against
from one random tweet.
Right, one random tweet that's like, Tanahashi stinks, and we're like, no, he doesn't stink. You're wrong. So, the good old days. But now we've grown and matured to where now we spend 8 minutes talking about White Sox pitcher Martin Perez.
Martin Perez.
Yeah.
Yes, Martin. Listen, I think I'm on a slight 3-second delay. It's bugging me.
Okay.
So why don't you set up the show while I back out?
I will do that. Yes, I will do that. For that. All right. So we'll get Joe logged off, get him back here for a sec to let you guys know what is going to be on the flagship tonight as we get Joe back on here. So AEW All Out card starting to take some shape. We'll look at where the card's looking like, some matches that have been announced, including a rumor of a match that was supposed to happen, according to Fightful Select, that thankfully is not happening because it was pretty bad. And I hope that was not actually discussed in the room, but I have no reason to believe that would be a lie. We also are going to look at TV rating trends over the last week. We talked about this last week that the TV ratings seemed very, very low based off what was going on in the rest of the cable world. And there was something weird going on. And I think we have either figured out that something weird was going on, or what. We'll discuss it, because the ratings trends over the last couple weeks are very unique and very interesting to discuss. WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia in 2027. Not officially reported yet, but seems to be rumored very heavily. Triple H earlier today said some big announcements coming tomorrow. Everybody kind of believes that this is going to be the announcement. It's basically been confirmed by all the important journalists that you would need to know in the wrestling business. So that we'll just kind of discuss it as if that is going to be true. We're going to catch you up on All Japan's Kings Road Tournament. All Japan Pro Wrestling's Kings Road Tournament. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. There's also been some pro wrestling deaths recently. We'll talk about those and a couple other little topics here and there, including Paramount potentially being or purchasing WBD on a cash deal. But Joe, I think you are back. Let me know.
I thought it translated to Royal Road. Is it Kings Road or Royal?
I think
Road?
it's Kings Road Tournament. I don't know how to pronounce. How do they pronounce it? The Odu.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I mean. That Odu or whatever.
Yeah, Odu. No, it's Kings Road. It's Kings Road Tournament. Kings Road Tournament.
So why have people been saying Royal Road for 15 years?
I don't know. I don't know. Is Royal Road a different tournament? Possibly.
No.
It's this one. Okay. I don't know.
I guess probably different machine translations or something.
Oh, this is interesting. So Wikipedia has it as Kings Road Tournament. Then the Puro Wiki, the fandom, has it as Royal Road Tournament.
See what I'm saying?
Man,
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that you can go with either then, right? Because I can't pronounce the Japanese word, the Odu or whatever that whatever that is. So I would always say Royal Road, but I've seen Kings Road. So maybe either translation, because I could see Royal and Kings being kind of samey in whatever the Japanese word would be. So I don't know. But the single elimination New Japan Cup style All Japan tournament. Let's call it that. That's not wordy at all. No. Just call it that every time.
We'll call it that, and it rolls off the tongue. So we'll get to that. We'll talk about WBD possibly being purchased by Paramount. And real quick, though, this came across just as we were going live here. And it's not a huge news story, but I think an interesting one here. So sent to us by the folks at Wrestle Radio Australia. So Wrestle Radio Australia, they cover Australian wrestling. Obviously, they sent it over and said, we at Wrestle Radio Australia learned after interviewing Bryan Danielson for the upcoming AEW Australia tour by Teg Sport that a rep from Teg Sport says that AEW signed a 5-year deal with them to keep touring Australia. So essentially, what this means is the Grand Slam Australia, or the Grand Slam, whatever, the thing in Brisbane or whatever, it was Perth, right? Didn't they move it to Perth? I forget, because it was supposed to be in Sydney and then they moved it to Perth. Whatever. The Grand Slam was earlier in this year. You guys all know what we're talking about here. That was the first year, technically, of the deal. Bryan Danielson this week was doing a bunch of press in Australia, and he kind of let out that we're coming back in 2026. They're going to do Grand Slam Australia February 14th. In 2026, then they're going to come back for AEW House Rules, the return of House Rules, Joe. Remember the short-lived AEW House Show tour. House Rules is coming back. House Rules Australia on Sunday, February 15th in Brisbane. But that's not it, though. Essentially what this report is saying, and what the rep told this Wrestle Radio Australia, is that 2026 is year 2 of this deal. So Teg Sport and AEW have a deal to come back then for 5 years. So for 3 more years after this. So 2027, 2028, and 2029, AEW will presumably be doing tours in Australia, or shows in Australia, I should say. So that's cool news. That's good. I mean, I love that Australia show, and I think it's a really cool wrestling market. I think it's an interesting wrestling market. I think it's probably an underserved wrestling market. So, hey, that's I think pretty good news.
So why don't you plug those guys again who sent this to us to talk about? Because this
Wrestle
is breaking
Radio
news.
Australia.
I don't think this was out there. So, they're the ones that. So anyway, go ahead and because that's why they give us something, and then they want a little plug-a-roo. So
and this is what you get. So Wrestle Radio Australia is the one. I will put the link in the show notes as well of the exclusive there. But yeah, did good little reporting. They interview Bryan Danielson. They get a little rep from Tech Sport that says, hey, we did this little thing, and here's a little scooperoo for you guys, and there you go. But yeah, not a monumental thing in wrestling, but I think it's pretty cool that they're going to be, consistently going back to Australia a bunch of times. And again, I think that's a really cool wrestling market, and I know you and I, many moons ago, were really covering the Australia wrestling scene when we thought it was really hot, and hey, it led us to Kyle Fletcher, so that's, which leads into All Out here in a second, but yeah, it's a scene that I wish I was still, and I don't know. Do you know what the state of the scene is right now? Because we used to get,
great.
Yeah, we used to get like recs from some people that would say, "Hey, go watch this." Go watch it. I feel like I haven't gotten anything from anybody, and every time I ask, everyone's just like, "eh."
Well, the scene kind of cooled off.
Yeah,
COVID did a number on the scene, and the scene cooled off considerably. But yeah, so new 5-year deal. There's a little scooperoo on the Thursday Dynamite review too. Did you pick up the little scooperoo on
that? I did hear that.
Thursday Dynamite review. So Adam Priest is now under contract, so that's why you've been seeing an increased presence of him on AEW television, and they're going right back to a rematch with him in Billington against FTR. So that was not just a little 1 week, one-off storyline. They're going right back to that on Saturday. So I don't know if they're going to throw up the graphic for Priest at some point. But he's off whatever handshake deal he was on, and he's on a real deal now. So, and it's funny because we've been talking about, well, not just us, but a lot of people have been talking about, when are they going to shit or get off the pot with Adam Priest? And, now apparently they have. So
I like that team too. If they want to do a team that have those two guys team up for 6 months or whatever to kind of get their feet wet, I'm fine with that too. That rocks.
Yeah, that's just a no-nonsense pro wrestling team right there. So, yeah, I'm all about that too. And FTR are perfect opponents for them, and they're perfect opponents for FTR.
Yeah.
So that was a fun little match last Saturday.
It was great, yeah. And Billington feels very underused by AEW right now, so I think it'd be because I don't think he's all the way there just yet. We've talked about him a lot on the show. I know
definitely not.
He's not. So but he needs those reps, and I don't know if he's getting those reps properly, elsewhere. And you look at his cage match, and yeah, he's working relatively consistent. But the best way to get better is to go out there and work with FTR. You know what I mean? Go out there and work with main roster people. But doing a tag team might be the best way. I mean, that's classic. Early, that's how guys used to come up in the wrestling business a lot. They would, a lot of times they would start off in a tag team and kind of get their feet wet that way, or they would, in the territory days, you'd start off and you would just, bounce around to different territories. You'd be a jobber for a little bit, and then you'd slowly work your way up the ladder, and you'd bounce to a different territory and work with these guys for 6 months. And then you go here, and then you work with these guys for 6 months, and you work with these guys for 6 months. And I think that's, AEW has an ecosystem that can support that. So somebody like a Tommy Billington, getting in the ring there, working with a guy like Adam Priest is going to help, and getting in there and working with, professional, like real deal professional TV wrestlers is only going to help too. So I would, because I think he's got all the potential in the world. You just have to, you got to hone that in a little bit, and I don't think he's getting that elsewhere. So I think it's probably a good idea to try to bring him in at least and do whatever, whether it's a tag team or you slowly get him through. But ROH seems like a good spot for him too eventually to get singles experience.
And give him credit too, Billington, because he went back to Kyushu Pro earlier this year. Because if you remember the year before, in 2024, he went to Kyushu Pro and they hyped up that he was going to be on the tour, and he only ended up working one match against Jet Way. In fact, I reviewed that match behind the paywall. And then he mysteriously left the tour. Like there was something going on and he had to leave the tour. And he wrestled basically a week or two later back in Canada. He was back doing Dungeon Wrestling, which is the new version of Stampede. And he was back doing some Canada indies. And I thought it was a little weird that he kind of just abandoned the tour. And I thought maybe there was either he abandoned it or they didn't want him there. But earlier this year, he did go back and honor those bookings. And not only that, he got Mo Jabari booked. He brought Mo Jabari
brought him
from
over.
Calgary, and so Mo Jabari ended up doing that little Kyushu Pro tour for a couple of weeks there, which is good for Mo Jabari's career. Mo Jabari. I mean, that guy went to WrestleMania weekend this year, and I think his only booking was the fourth rope battle royal where he got thrown out instantly. I felt so bad for the guy. Like he might have had one other. I don't know if he did. I think
he had I think we talked about this. He had one or two, and Billington was there all weekend too, and he didn't do anything. He had like one booking or two bookings.
Yeah. So that's good to see him get a booking out there, and it was good to see Billington actually go back and work more of a full tour. He got in the ring with Tajiri on that tour. He got back in the ring with Jet Way in a 6-man tag. So, good for him. And whatever happened that first time around was probably just something out of everybody's control. But yeah, then he got signed by AEW. And really, they haven't used him since they signed him. He was on TV a couple of times. They announced that they signed him. He did the Jericho Cruise, right? And then they haven't used him until they brought him back for this little program with Adam Priest. So, something may be cooking there now that Priest is under contract. So that's good to see. Because guys like Priest and Billington, while I don't know if they have top guy upside or anything like that, those are guys that could be solid backbone guys on a roster.
Yeah, you need those dudes.
Them properly.
Yeah, you need those.
You absolutely need them. Because look, guys like Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, they're long in the tooth. They're in their 40s or close to it. Strong is definitely in his 40s. O'Reilly's got to be getting close to his 40s.
I want to say O'Reilly, I think he's the same age as me. So, yes, he is quickly getting to us. I will tell you that. He is quickly approaching his 40s. I don't think he's 40 just yet, but he's right on the edge. I think him and I are very close in age, like a couple of months away.
Yeah, so I don't mean to specifically pick on those two, but guys like that, it's very clear Tony has no interest in pushing guys like that further than, the lower mid card or whatever, but they're like doing comedy now. You need those backbone guys on a roster who are a little bit younger, who haven't been so overexposed on TV. That's the other thing. Those guys have been on TV for over a decade now, longer if you count like TNA for Roderick Strong. Guy's been on TV. He's been on your TV for like 20 years. And I like Roddy, but it's like, their time is up.
We need the new generation. The next generation has to come.
Yeah, and this is it. Guys like Adam Priest and Tommy Billington are the next generation of that guy. And unfortunately, with the state of the indies, the indies aren't pumping out a lot of that guy. Adam Priest is like one of the few who, it's like, and Billington, who's kind of been doing most of his work in Canada, like underneath the cloak of darkness where no one's really paying attention. So it's good that AEW was able to get their claws into guys like that, because I do think, Ace Austin, is another guy you bring in. Look, I don't think he's going to ever be a top of the card guy, but if you want to talk about someone who needed a fresh start and a fresh coat of paint, it was Ace Austin. The guy's been with TNA for how long? It was a nice run. It was good for both sides. But you put Ace Austin in AEW, all of a sudden he feels fresh again. And there's all these new opponents and new things for him to do. And so that's good to see, and they brought in Kevin Knight and they brought in Mike Bailey. And this is what you just said. This is the next generation of like the backbone of a roster. It's you know what I mean? So now Kevin Knight, I think, does have that star upside. So he's a little different. But these other guys, Bailey and Ace Austin and Priest and Tommy Billington, man, they can just be stalwarts on your roster who are having good matches and fighting for mid-card titles for 5 to 8 years. Because that's how wrestling is now, where it's like you don't bounce around as much. You could have a guy on your roster for, like some of the guys we've been talking about, who've been with AEW for a long time. So, or even Ace Austin,
anyway, who mentioned before. I mean, I think people, if you actually went and looked at Ace Austin and how long he was in TNA, it would probably blow your mind how long he was there.
He's been there forever.
Yeah, it's 2019. He started there. I looked it up when you were talking about him. I think it was last week on the Thursday Dynamite reviews. I was like, yeah, he's been in TNA for a long time, right? 2019. I mean, that might not seem like a long time, but we're in 2025 right now. That's a long ass fucking time to be, in one company for a long time, and especially if you're not, if you're not progressing and not moving up. I mean, that's exactly what a lot of wrestlers should do. I mean, you and I are proponents of this. I always think movement is good in professional wrestling. I think movement is the best thing you can do in professional wrestling if you're not moving up the ladder in the company you're in. And it's a risk. Sometimes it's a risk, and sometimes it doesn't pay off. We talk about Alan Angels. That's a classic example of a guy who was in AEW, wasn't seeing any upward momentum, and said, fuck it, I'm going to bet on myself and try something out. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go. It hasn't worked out for Alan Angels, but you got to take that risk. You got to try that, because if you just sit and wither away in one company for 8, 9, 10 years, you just become, you just, and that's, I think, what Ace Austin was probably looking at, is saying, hey, look, I'm still under 30. I'm only 28 years old. I can just kind of sit around and fuck around in Impact for, 4 more years and be perfectly fine. Or do I want to try something different? So yeah, he tried something different, and AEW was willing to take him on. Yeah. And I think that's a healthy wrestling business has that.
And I saw the chat was saying that commentary said Billington was injured and was returning, but that was partially kayfabe, because he hadn't worked all year in AEW, but he's been working all over the world all year.
Right.
There was only 1 month. He didn't work from about the beginning of June to the beginning of August. So he may have had some small injury during July, but he worked all through August, okay, on the indies. And prior to July, he worked all year. He worked in Japan. He worked in Canada. He worked WrestleMania weekend, as we already specified. He worked the Jericho Cruise. So, he may have had some nagging injury in July where he sat it out, but he's been back and he's been working all year. They just didn't have anything for him. If they had anything for him, outside of probably that Japan tour commitment he had, they could have booked him.
Right, he was just doing indies in Canada. I mean, that you can tell one of these indies in Canada. Hey, sorry.
A phone call.
Yeah, right, sorry, you can't use Billington. We're bringing him in.
Yeah, he was just waiting for a phone call, and Tony lets people work their Japan dates. That's a different thing. But it's outside of that, they could have booked him anytime since February, and they just didn't. So not even for ROH while he was working everywhere. So anyway. That wasn't on the run sheet either. We're an hour in. We haven't done shit.
No, that's fine. Michael Horgan in the chat room brings up a good point too. Josh Alexander's another backbone guy that they just brought in who and to his point feels fresh because he hasn't been overexposed on a lot of national television for a long time. So yeah, you can bring a guy like you could bring. So again, it's time for that next generation to come in, and I've been a huge proponent of that. Is that if you have guys on your TV and it's the same guys that people have been watching for years and years and years and years. And like you're saying, if you watch NXT in 2018 and you watch AEW now, it's a lot of the same dudes. And that's like kind of wild. You know what I mean? Like that, it should freshen up a little bit more. And yeah, your tippy top guys are going to stay there, but you're like you're talking about the backbone, the mid card, like that should be a little bit more fluid. That should move and change a little bit, or else it just gets stagnant. And yeah, I like Kyle O'Reilly. I like Roderick Strong. I like a lot of those guys. Hell, another guy I mentioned, Tony Nese, is a guy that I've always said is like a great backbone guy for your roster. But Tony Nese has been on, national television in some sense for a long ass time. And it's like, all right, yeah, we need to maybe at some point figure out a new Tony Nese. We have to figure out at some point a new Kyle O'Reilly, a new Roderick Strong, a new, those kind of guys have to kind of get filtered out and new guys have to come in and replace them. And I think AEW's been doing a good job of that in 2025.
Women's division too, bringing in Tekla and Alex Windsor. They've really supplemented the women's division with some people with some real upside too. And they're already pushing Tekla and Alex Windsor. That didn't take long.
No, it didn't take long. And it now makes, what's interesting about that too is when you have, when you do that, it makes the people that have been hanging around for a while feel like such relics. Cause now you see like Thunder Rosa and Anna Jay and Sky Blue and you're like, do we need these people?
Well, I mean, they brought back Riho and Emi Sakura.
Right. It's like, what generation are these people from? Yeah.
Is this 2019? We don't need this. Right. It's just like, keeping the roster fresh and turning people over is good. It would be weird if Riho comes back last week and then Britt Baker and Nyla Rose come back next week. And it's like, well, now we're moving in reverse here. We've got some new bodies and they're underexposed and they feel fresh. And that's always a good thing, So I had some other point. Man, I had a point and I lost it. Don't you hate that when you have a point and you lose it? And then I'll remember it when we're talking about All Japan. And then I'll be like, I can't go back to this AEW point. We're talking about fucking Nomura.
I would say, Joe, I'm going to give you liberty that if at any point after night one of the Kings Road / Royal Road / All Japan single elimination tournament that resembles the New Japan Cup, if at any point you want to jump in with an AEW thought, feel free, because my God, I cannot wait to get to that topic and discuss how awful that entire show was. But let's really quickly talk about this Skydance Paramount thing. So a report came out that the Wall Street Journal reported that recently merged Paramount Skydance was preparing a cash takeover bid for the entirety of Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, you talked about this a little bit on the Thursday Dynamite review, but to kind of catch people up for those who haven't listened to it, like what essentially are we talking about here in the simplest terms? And then we can kind of get into the weeds about how AEW would be potentially affected by this.
Well, I mean, look, Paramount and Skydance. Have you been following any of this over like the summer and everything?
Oh yeah. It's big news that I feel like has not been really discussed enough.
So the gist of it is they just went through a merger not that long ago. A few weeks ago, there was a merger. Essentially, what you have under one umbrella now, let me see if I can remember all this. It's Paramount, it's Skydance Media, and that also includes CBS, Viacom, and I'm probably forgetting one or two other entities. But here's the thing. They want to, the Ellison family, they have the financing here, and they're,
who, by the way, became the richest man on in the world this week. I think he beat Elon for Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle. So a very rich man. This is a powerful person. There have been so many mergers between these entities and splits and remergers, and all to manipulate stocks and all of those things. But the David Ellison is leading the charge on this. So they want to do some type of merger, acquisition, purchase of Warner Brothers Discovery. The semantics of it doesn't really matter if it's all under one banner or if it's Ellison that owns it outright. The point is it's all going to be a giant, if it goes through, a giant conglomeration with this Paramount Skydance corporation that was formed about a month ago, which also includes CBS and Viacom. Now, I'm reading the things that they own. It would be here all day, reading everything that they own.
Yeah. So the real world. The real world reason for this is they want to put all of the news entities under one banner and control the news that we all get.
Oh, good.
Right? So
awesome.
This purchase means CNN.
Yeah.
So they will then own. So that's the big ticket. And this is all. It's all intertwined with the Trump settlement from a couple of months back, and obviously Trump loosening up various different laws on how many. And so it gets really deep. People can look into that if they want. Obviously, as Rich just said, it's not good.
Ideally, not good. No, to have all news entities under one roof and one umbrella, not great. No, not great.
So where it factors into a wrestling podcast is obviously Paramount just paid a multiple billions of dollars to TKO for the media rights to UFC. So
$7 billion, 7 billion, 7 years, $7.7 billion deal. I want to say off the top of my head, a lot of money
in that range. So now look, the stock market, Wall Street is very bullish on this potential deal, as WBD stock I think was up like 20% the last time I checked today. I don't know what it closed at, but obviously WBD has had financial woes for some time now. If this goes through, the wrestling connection, the wrestling implications here obviously would be that Tony Khan has done business with WBD for AEW's entire existence. And now you would have a situation where the parent company that either owns, runs, or however you want to term it semantically, the WBD networks, is now a very close business partner with TKO to the tune of almost $8 billion a year.
Yeah.
So this is not dooming, but to ignore this or hand wave it as not a potential major story in pro wrestling would be incredibly obtuse. You have to acknowledge that it could be something. It could also be nothing. It all depends on the new people in charge, assuming the deal goes through. Okay, that's assumption number one. The deal has to go through. Otherwise, none of this conversation matters. Assuming the deal goes through, it all depends on the people in charge. Are they going to look at AEW and say, oh, well, it's a great performer. It outperforms nearly everything on television. It's making us money in ad revenue. It does well on Max. We've got this new pay-per-view deal that can be fruitful for us. Great. Or are the new people in charge going to be super tight with your Nick Khans and your Ari Emanuels and your TKO people? And are they going to be in their ear? And are they going to be like, hey, look, when this contract's up, fuck that. We'll give you programming. You want something on Wednesday nights?
We got you.
You want something on Saturday nights? Not only do we got you, we'll blow away the numbers they're doing. And that's a real possibility. And I don't think, look, if you're an AEW fan or just a fan of American wrestling that isn't WWE, if you want to bury your head in the sand on this one, you can go ahead and do that. You can cover your ears and cover your eyes and pretend that, and maybe, hope that this deal doesn't go through, or pretend that it's not going to matter. None of us know how it's going to play out if the deal goes through. Google Jamie Kellner. I mean, there's history to look at here. If you have a person in charge, the person in charge is going to dictate where this goes for Tony Khan. And the other issue here is, if they do want to nudge him out of their umbrella and strictly do business with TKO because they like TKO and they prefer TKO's brand of combat sports and sports entertainment, then what this also means is there's one more media rights company off the table for Tony to negotiate with and negotiate off of.
Right.
There's
and I think that's
going to be a lot of places left to turn.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest things that I always try to stress is that I don't know if anything happens to WBD that they're going to say, you know what, we don't want wrestling, whatever it might be. Regardless, what TKO's entire idea in the combat sports world now with boxing, as they're getting stronger into boxing and heavier into boxing, and obviously with UFC and MMA and with WWE and combat sports, the overarching combat sports thing, and we know it and we see it and we've been talking about it. You and I have been talking about this for months and months and months, if not years, that one of the key things that they want to do is diversify as much as possible to ensure that any other competitor cannot exist in the marketplace because there's nobody to negotiate with. That is their end goal. That is why TKO might take a little less money from ESPN to make sure that they're on ESPN. That's why they've wanted to be, because you look at WWE stuff and it's like, oh my God, they're on this and this and this, and they're on these 5 different platforms. That's partially by design too, because they don't want any other entity to be able to negotiate with the combat sport. Or like you said, one of the big things that we always bring up is nowadays with TNA in the fold, with AAA in the fold, with partner promotions, they can go to the table and say, whoa, you want to sign those guys? Well, you trust us. You like us. Hey, you're Paramount. You just paid us $8 billion. Well, hey, here we go. Here's an approved company for you. We have total nonstop action. This is a company that we believe in, that has growth potential, and they borrow our superstars. And we will give them the full, whatever you want to tell people at the table, you should sign them. You can sign them for, half the money or whatever. And guess what? We're going to deliver the exact same ratings for you. And so, like, that matters. That matters to these people at these tables, especially if they have good relationships with Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel and those kind of guys. And a lot of people do have good relationships with Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel because they've been around the business for years and years and years. They know those guys. And look, they're fucking sharks and they're really good at what they do. Right? Like, they seem to, no matter what, get to a table and get whatever the fuck they want every single time.
You want to know something that they really want very badly? They want AEW to be out of business.
Correct.
And I don't know who still needs to hear that. Is it not obvious that they want AEW out of business? Is it not obvious when they counter program everything AEW does now with main? Look, there was a report from Brian Alvarez and confirmed by Dave Meltzer that WWE, if they would have had a little more time, they were going to move the WrestlePalooza show again to counter Tony earlier in the day on the 20th. But there was something logistically where Tony made the move. If Tony had made the move a week earlier, they would have followed him into that time slot. And that's something we talked about last week, where I thought that would be just too obvious.
It's too on the nose, yeah.
But they don't care.
That they don't give a fuck, yeah.
So that's the next move. They're not just they're going to counter program, and then they're going to follow Tony around time wise as well, and just totally, they're going for the throat here. Their goal is to put them out. Why? It's not so much splitting the market share because they're making so much money anyway. It's more so to bring down the talent cost.
Correct.
That's what this is more so about than whatever morsel of the market share that AEW has in terms of wrestling fans, right? They don't care so much about that. They don't want to have to pay their free agents more because there's a viable competitor out there, and they'll snuggle up nice and tight with TNA so they can pat them on the head and keep a close eye and ensure that they don't grow too much. They've got that handled. Next step, put AEW out of business so we don't have this rogue billionaire jacking up all of our talent salaries. That's why they want to bump them out. And they're going to do everything in their power to do so. And if you don't think that includes, oh, hey, you guys own WBD now? You want something for Wednesdays and Saturdays? You want something hard edge? I got something for you. Let this guy go. We'll give you better numbers. And in fact, we'll give you a rate. We'll create 2 new shows and they'll do anything they can to bump AEW out and force them out to some fucking streamer and off of TV or whatever the fuck. So that's why this potential Paramount WBD deal is potentially
right.
the biggest story in wrestling of 2025.
Absolutely. And even if there's not malice involved either, even if TKO leaves their hands off, which, I mean, there's no indication that they would do that. I mean, they probably would be very hands-on, but there's also the factor that if you follow the history of American TV wrestling, there's not a whole lot of networks that have been very eager to sign up wrestling on those networks. I mean, the AEW existed, and this is going to be, or we're going to talk about it a lot, upcoming episode of Change the World, by the way. FlagshipPatreon.com coming up very soon, talking about All Out 2020. All Out 2020, MJF versus John Moxley in the main event there, as well as our special wild card match. And guess what, Joe? I listened to the instant reaction live of the All Out 2020, what we did during the heart of the pandemic. You and I are watching these pay-per-views doing instant reaction lives. It starts off with us bitching about how the show was too long. People think this is new. People think we're like, oh, you guys just decided. No. Even in the heart of the pandemic, we're like, fuck, this is too long. Why is this show 5 hours?
Hey, look. Sometimes shows are too long.
Right.
They're not always too long. But sometimes shows are too long.
Right.
ROH does not need to have a 4-hour pay-per-view. I'm sorry. 2.5 hours in and out, Tony.
All right. All in Texas didn't need to be 7 hours or whatever.
8 hours. It was 8 fucking hours. I mean, sometimes shows are too long.
Right. But I just found that so funny. It was great. I punched it up and you're like, yeah, 5 hours of my life down the drain. And I'm like, yep, that's because that was a bad pay-per-view too. That was a bad pay-per-view. But
not a good pay-per-view, and also a pandemic pay-per-view with the fucking guns and the mean girl. What the fuck was her name? That little midget girl, the short girl, as the fans, as the quote unquote fan. I mean, that's a rough watch.
Are you saying? I hate to respond to the midget girl, but Layla Hirsch is who you're talking about, correct?
No, the mean girl, the girl that had the Mean Girls gimmick, the Tina Fey Mean Girls gimmick. She's really short. She did job work on Dark, like really short, like 4'8" short.
Okay.
She recently retired from wrestling, but she was always one of the people in the crowd with the ass boys and the rest of the AEW Dark crew posing as the fans.
Someone in the chat room will know precisely who you're talking about. I thought you were talking about Layla Hirsch. So
No. WrestleMania in Tampa, she did the wrestling show that was just people smoking weed at the table.
Well, that was Lindsay Snow's Cannabis Cup or whatever. That's not who you're talking about,
though. No, not Lindsay Snow, but she was on the Lindsay Snow
Cannabis Cup show. I see. Yeah,
Danny Jordan.
Oh, Danny Jordan. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Here's why you couldn't think of that. You weren't a dark sicko like the rest of us.
It's true. I was not as big of a dark sicko. Yeah.
You were not a dark sicko. What do you know about Tony Donati? You know nothing of Tony Donati.
I don't know much about Tony Donati. You're right.
And that's a problem because we were locked in on Tony Donati and his awesome entrance theme while you were off like living like real life, like some kind of weirdo. Like you needed to be locked into AEW Dark. What are you doing spending time with your wife? What's wrong with you, Rich Craich?
You don't know anything about Danny Jordan. Tony Donati.
You don't. You know nothing of Danny Jordan.
You're right. I didn't know anything about Danny Jordan.
And her mean girl gimmick. She used to bring a burn book to the ring.
With the Y instead of an A in the last name, which I always appreciated. With her name. But anyway, so I just found that funny. But in that episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about, at the time, Kevin Riley was let go from WBD or reassigned or whatever. And Dave writes all about how AEW pretty much the Goldilocks situation of AEW. And we talk about this all the time. We were covering it live and as it was happening. The Goldilocks situation that had to happen for WBD to take a chance on Tony Khan and AEW was already like a monumental achievement. That Kevin Riley and Tony Khan happened to be pretty cordial with one another. They met each other at exactly the time that WWE was signing giant media rights contracts, at exactly the same time that Kenny, the Bucks, and Cody were doing All In. So that all those things had to come together for Kevin Riley and Tony Khan to say, you know what, maybe this might work. You know, if you can do it, I think I can do it too. You know, Kevin Riley saying, hey, if you can get this shit together in this wrestling company, I think I can make you a deal where you get a time slot. And by the way, that time slot lasted until early 2020, basically. It was like a 6-month time slot, and we'll figure out if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, or whatever. And eventually it did. Obviously, it did work in early 2020, and that really helped. And then after they signed that extension in 2020, the pandemic hit, And thank God that Tony Khan owned Daly's place. And again, we're going to talk all about this in that episode, because if he didn't have a place to do TV, if he just had to do TV at the Nightmare Factory or whatever for months on end, or had to say, hey guys, we can't do TV, like that was going to be it either. But he had the Daly's place, which he was able to turn into the ideal and the perfect pandemic era wrestling event and wrestling venue or whatever, and then was able to see through the pandemic and actually had good numbers throughout the pandemic, and then that was another reason that even when Kevin Riley got let go, WBD said, all right, you know what, yeah, we he took a chance on you guys and you're doing decent ratings, all right, we'll extend you for a couple more years. And then of course that leads to this. So there's a lot of these factors that had to, but it all had to start with that guy who took a chance on Tony Khan and believed that this was the right time to do it, and Tony Khan believing, yes, this is the right time to do it. The media rights are exploding. These guys are doing this self-promoted show. There's a glut of wrestling fans that we can hit, that are underserved, that we can attach. All those things had to happen. Every one of those things that had happened for this to happen even once. So even if there's not malice involved, even if it's not TKO telling Paramount, hey, get those fuckers off the network and put our thing on there, like you said, the new owners can just say, we'll just air reruns instead. Who cares? How much are we paying these guys? Nah, that's fine. We'll get ad rates. Because, AEW is successful, but the knock on a lot of wrestling is that the ads are never premier ads. They're not paid as well for ads on professional wrestling shows. Now, I think AEW does better than WWE does, but we just saw Fox with Lachlan Murdoch straight up just say, we were disappointed by the ratings, but really more than anything, the ad rates were bad. So we're not going to renew WWE. We're going to let them go. And we're going to bring in college football, and that's going to work out way better for us because college football is going to get much better ads than wrestling will. I mean, that's what it comes down to a lot of times. I mean, Bonnie Hammer saved WWE's ass in the mid-2000s, or the early 2010s, by basically hiding the fact that they had WWE on their properties. You remember this, I'm sure, that the big thing that USA Network did was sold their entire network to ad buyers and not individual shows, because what would happen is Burn Notice and all these other fucking random, because there was USA was just filled with hot people doing procedural jobs, and they were all it was either hot lawyers or hot cops or whatever. That was just hot people in business suits was essentially what every USA show. Those were doing great, but Raw, even though Raw was doing better in the ratings, was getting horrible ad rates. So Bonnie Hammer and Universal, NBC Universal, said, here, let's make it a lot easier. You buy NBC Universal and then we'll distribute the ads wherever we put them. And that helped WWE get better advertisers. That helped them in a way that USA would say, hey, look, we're doing well in the ratings because of Raw, but we're getting destroyed ad rate wise because nobody wants to advertise on professional wrestling because wrestling fans are statistically dumb and statistically poor. So they didn't they didn't get good ad rates on that. So all those things can play into it on their own, included in then obviously the malice that TKO might have to it. So yeah, if you see this story, there's no way that you could just say, AEW is successful, so nothing's going to happen to them. I mean, history does not say that that's the case. I mean, we'll see. Who knows? We can't say right now, but there's no reason to not cover the story and no reason to not talk about it. Like you said, it could be one of the biggest wrestling stories of the year in a big way.
You have to consider, again, we don't know. It depends how the people running it think. That's really all this comes down to. If the merger does happen, which it looks like there's a good chance it could happen. And here, by the way, this didn't come out of left field today. This has been bouncing around the business world for weeks and weeks.
We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it a long time ago. Every time you bring up that Ring of Honor and how Tony says, I got a deal for Ring of Honor, but I didn't take it. And I always say, loyalty to WBD is fine, but WWE might not be the company it is right now. David Zaslav might not matter at all in 6 months and 7 months. And the reason why I mentioned this Paramount thing, because this has been bubbling up for a while now. But now it seems to be a little bit more. It seems the horses are getting, whatever the term might be. I mean, they're getting ready to do this thing. Now, it was rumored and bandied about a couple months ago, but now it's becoming a little bit more official that they're going to, and it's going to be a cash deal. So if you're WBD, I mean, you'd be silly not to take a cash deal for this. They don't fucking care, If the Ellisons are going to...
Are we doing a Worlds Collide preview today?
No, fuck that, no.
Oh, we're not?
No.
I thought we were doing, because that's this weekend.
It is this weekend, yeah.
Did you make an executive decision on...
I mean, I have it on the run sheet, but who fucking cares?
Oh, you do have it on the run sheet?
Yeah, it's there.
Well, there's just a point I wanted to make, but it would be better suited to the Worlds Collide preview.
Well, do you want to do the Worlds Collide preview right now?
Sure. Let's do that.
Live Friday night on YouTube. AAA Worlds Collide. Can we get these fuckers a different name for any of these shows? Can we stop calling them Worlds Collide?
Well, it's very low effort. They don't give a shit. That's the problem.
We've had 2 Worlds Collide this year. So what is it? What do I call this one?
You call it Worlds Collide.
Well, what do I call the one earlier in the year?
Listen, AEW is doing a house show in Australia, and they're calling it House Rules. So, how's that any different?
I guess.
Right?
I guess. I mean, these are premium live events, and there's AAA Worlds Collide, and then there's AAA Worlds Collide in the same year.
Rich, they don't give a fuck.
They don't.
They don't give a fuck.
Look at this fucking card. I can tell you they don't give a fuck.
Listen to me. Are you listening?
I am listening, yeah.
I lost my point, so I'm stalling. They don't care. Last week we talked about, I'll go in this direction. Last week we talked about how we were surprised. A Cubs fan, I think, reported that their talent strategy was to scan the indies, right? And we missed the obvious reason. And shame on us because we did a bad job. We opined that maybe it was, maybe they think the CMLL wrestlers are too broken and set in their ways, and they won't be willing to work the style, or all these other reasons. The reason is simple. The indie talent is cheaper. They don't give a fuck if it's good.
Right.
They bought AAA. Nobody's good. They don't. Have you seen Pagano work? I mean, you think they're concerned about how good the wrestlers are? So it's
again, the most valuable asset that they now have from AAA is Mr. Iguana, for God's sakes, and they're selling.
Right.
The fucking lizard is like $80 on WWE Shop or something. By the way, voicesofwrestling.com/WWE Shop if you want to buy the fucking lizard to bring around. But yeah, like that is like literally more than Vikingo. The strongest asset they have right now from AAA is Mr. Iguana and the fucking lizard.
Yeah, so from their standpoint, they could just find what they feel are marketable wrestlers on the indies who will come work for them cheaper, rather than even dealing with getting into bidding wars with CMLL. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think CMLL would even waste their time getting into bidding wars. I think CMLL would, and I could be off base on that. Maybe if WWE came for Mystico or came for, whoever the fuck, maybe CMLL would put up a bit of a fight and drive up the price. And maybe WWE just isn't interested in that at all when they figure, you know what, fuck that. We could just go out and get Aries. But it turns out Aries wanted to work for AEW. So he called Tony and said, hey, look, I have an offer. So if you want me, you got to sign me because I would like to make some money. And Tony signed him. But that tells you that they're probably doing this, and he would be a perfect guy for them to sign. He's a talented guy on the indies. They're going to just cherry pick the indies instead because they're going to come cheaper. And we didn't even think of that aspect of it. And I don't know why we didn't, because that's their strategy in the U.S. They want talent to be cheap.
I know. Just try. These idiots, if they just tried a little bit, they could run these different markets. Like we talked about that with the UK, and we talk about it with Mexico here, and we've talked about it with the US Indies, and it's like it wouldn't take that much more effort for them to really, like, WWE ID should have been a gigantic deal, and it's not, and it's not going to be, and we just know it's not. And this AAA thing, now that we're a couple months in, it's like, yeah, when this thing first got announced, we were like, oh man, if they put some muscle behind this, they could, but they're kind of lazy at the end of the day.
Look. Here's all it needs to be is professionally produced and have some characters that have puppets, and they could sell it to TV stations. That's all they care about.
And that's what they want to do. Yeah.
And that's what they're going to do, because it is professionally produced now. The AAA matches are more professional in general now. We talk about that all the time. Worlds Collide will probably be a decent show. And it's like, well, it'll be yeah, but look at the bar. Look at what AAA shows were.
Is in hell. Yeah, you're right.
It's just gonna be an average wrestling show, even if it's a little below average. Like AAA has put on some of the worst wrestling shows, quite honestly, in the history of wrestling over the last 5 years. I mean, I'm not exaggerating, right? Those are some of the worst shows in the history of Major League Wrestling. So as long as it's professionally produced and you have guys having competent 8-minute matches, that's all they're concerned with, because then they're going to shop that around. Maybe to WBD for Wednesday nights. Who the fuck knows? But shame on us for not thinking of that aspect of it, which is a nice it's good. I mean, I want to see CMLL
this
keep
is the
their
best
stars.
result for sure.
You know, maybe they don't understand because they don't understand the market but you would think someone like Borash would get it. Borash knows who the stars are, right?
They're also cocky assholes about their style and the way that they, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of goes to what we talked about last week too. I think they're also giant fucking assholes about, who's good wrestlers and what. So
you're right. And maybe they are just entirely out on Mystico because of his run.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Triple H is like,
it went very
guy.
poorly.
Never again.
It went as poorly as humanly possible. So I'm not.
And now maybe
surprised.
because of him, there's a stigma on the CMLL guys. They're like, maybe they're thinking we're not bringing in these Arena Mexico guys. They all got big fucking heads, and they think they're stars.
Good, great.
Because they put 13,000 people in the building every week, and they think they're stars. That's probably their attitude. Which I don't know. That tells me that they're probably stars. Running the same building every week and running the same buildings, it's plural now, every week and selling all of them out. As long as Mystico's on the show. But they're not the tickets even when he's
Joe,
not.
that's not where the heartbeat of Lucha Libre is. The heartbeat of Lucha Libre is, what was it? Like the CDMX or whatever the fuck the building that they ran was. So that's the heartbeat. Yes, sir. Not Arena Mexico.
CDMX Mexico City is the heartbeat of Lucha Libre.
Right. Not Arena Mexico, a building from the 30s, an old barn from the 30s. I mean, come on. Who gives a fuck?
No. Sir, Worlds Collide 2 in front of 1,900 fans in the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas is the heartbeat of Lucha Libre.
This is the Cox Pavilion is the former Thomas and Mack Center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Big steps.
I mean, it's
big steps to get in there. I always remember that. Okay. Every time I drive by, I don't know if you've ever seen the building in real life. There's just a lot of stairs to get into it. I'm like, that's a lot of stairs for the building. But anyway.
It's the same location. I think it's a side. It's like the theater at MSG, I think. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, so it's like not the Thomas and Mack Center.
I think, and one of us could Google this while I'm talking.
I'll be the one. Yeah.
I think the pavilion is a side building on the site of the Thomas and Mack Center.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But listen, that doesn't lessen my point. They can't run the Thomas and Mack Center.
Right. That's actually where you're right. Yeah, I thought they were the same thing, but no, you were correct. There's the Thomas and Mack Center. There's the Strip View Pavilion, and then there's the Cox Pavilion, and they're running the Cox Pavilion. So yeah, you nailed it.
They're running the smaller building at the same site. It's like when AAA ran quote unquote MSG, but they ran the theater. Remember that a few years ago? Because it would have been preposterous to want to run. Did they even ever run that show? I can't even remember.
I don't remember.
That was a story that we broke, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
I
do remember that
story. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, look, they very quickly lost the ability to sell tickets to these endless parade of Worlds Collide shows because this one's not even going to have 2,500 people in the building. So,
is that true? I haven't even looked at the ticket sales.
No, I wasn't just doing a bit.
Oh,
They currently have 1,900 tickets.
Oh no. Oh my, that's not good at all.
They're running a theater. They're running a little side building. This is what I'm saying.
Oof.
They're not running Thomas and Mack proper. That's a 20,000 seat basketball arena.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm looking at this yesterday from WrestleTix. Yeah. 1910. Whew. That's not good.
So,
Hall of Fame case for Dom Mysterio, not going well. I will tell you that. That's heard, but yeah.
Someone in the chat says Thomas and Mack obviously is where UNLV basketball plays because if you remember the Jerry Tarkanian days, there was huge games there.
Of course.
And the women's team runs the Cox Pavilion.
Okay.
It's the smaller side building. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, someone's in the chat saying they think they canceled that MSG
I was trying to look that up. Yeah, they cited something else. Like, I forget what it was the classic, like, I don't know, bomb threat or something. I forget what it was, but it was something like that where they're like, oh, shoot, we want to run the show, but we can't. But we knew because, remember, didn't they have no, it actually ran. I'm looking at this right now. It fucking ran.
Oh, they did run it. Yeah. What was
AAA invading New York, September 15, 2019, from the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden. Dr. Wagner versus Blue Demon in the main. Cain Velasquez was on this. I think that was one of the big hooks. They had Brian Cage.
That
Cain
was
Velasquez.
why they want. That's why they wanted to run MSG. They thought they could run MSG proper because they were booking Cain Velasquez.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's exactly how it went. So they initially said that they were going to do MSG. They sold 2,000 tickets, and then we talked about it on the show. Someone must have said, "All right, we're at 2,000. Stop it. Move it to the Hulu Theater right now." It's just like before we sell too many tickets, like like WrestleMania 7. It was like, look, we're at 12,000 tickets. Yeah. Just we're not going to be in the LA Coliseum anymore. Move it to the sports arena, and then we don't have to refund anybody. We can move all the tickets over. So yeah, essentially, that's exactly what happened. They got to 2,000 tickets and said, "Stop! We're not going to sell 16,000 tickets to the show. So just stop it right now."
Well, I got a little tipperoo from one of my Goombas in New York because we broke that they were running MSG, and that was a Patreon report. I don't know if I did audio or written, but then yes, very quickly it became obvious that it was going to be an embarrassment, and they moved it to the theater. Mm-hmm. But so that's kind of what this is. They're working the side building, not the actual Thomas.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't look at the numbers because I just kind of figured it was doing well, but well,
look at it this way: what kind of Mexican population is in Las Vegas? I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either. Yeah, I'm not sure
because LA, obviously. I mean, AAA during the early mid '90s ran LA all the time, and obviously did great. They were having some of the. They had the biggest attendance. They were the best house show attendance company in the U.S. 93, 94.
Oh, 90, yeah. By 94, they were blowing WWF and WCW house show out of the
They're filling up L.A. Sports Arena, and so I don't know what kind of Mexican population. I have no idea. I just don't know what Las Vegas has. Las Vegas, of course, is a major event spot, obviously, with boxing and pro wrestling in recent years and other types of events, but I don't know if something as niche as Lucha Libre wrestling, even with WWE branding, well, we know now. Actually, why am I saying I don't know? We know it's going to run a theater next to the big
right, and not
is what it's going
to. And as of it's happening tomorrow, and it hasn't filled it yet. So, we know it's not even a maybe. We know that it's not doing. Yeah, it's Vikingo and Dom Mysterio on the main event for the mega title. I think Dom's going to win it. I think last time we talked, you thought Vikingo would probably win. I feel like for them, they're going to think that Dom's the guy that they want to kind of put on the top of on the marquee and promote. So I don't know. I feel like Dom's a shoo-in to win that. And then he can walk around with the title and backstage segments with the Judgment Day as they decide if they're going to break up or not for the 5th year in a row. So I don't know.
I also think they really want to make Vikingo happen, though.
Yeah.
Outside of, they're going to fight the boos, and maybe they think he won't get booed in the U.S. like he does in Mexico. And he probably won't. But again, I don't know what kind of fans are going to buy the tickets.
No, these fans are going to be cheering for Dom Mysterio for sure. There's no way.
If they're Mexican, but we're in Las Vegas.
No, I think even ironic WWE fans are going to cheer for Dominic Mysterio over.
Think so?
Because they don't know who Vikingo is. Most of these people don't know who the fuck Vikingo is. And that's a problem with the AAA talent. I do agree. Listen,
I understand what you're saying. But if you're the type of gringo WWE fan that's deep enough in the weeds to be going to Worlds Collide in Las Vegas, I don't know if you're going to be the kind of fan that's going to boo Vikingo. I think you're going to go with what WWE's giving you, like you do when you go to Raw, right?
The way that they've used Dominic in AAA, I think they've used him as a little bit, not a full-on babyface, but they've kind of been a little bit more shades of gray with him.
They have to be, because Vikingo gets booed out of the fucking building.
What I'm saying. Well, it'd be interesting to see. I think they're going to. I think the fans are going to cheer Dominic Mysterio enough that they'll just go with it, and they're going to, enough people are going to boo Vikingo that they're just going to go with that too. Because they've been putting a little bit of an edge on Vikingo too. I think they realize that we can't keep fighting the boos that much. But you're right. It's going to be a very weird. I don't know what the fans are going to be like. I can't judge how the fans are going to be because we saw what they were in Mexico.
I need to know
versus what they're here.
Yeah, I need to know the fan makeup. If it's just the usual, if it's just going to be a small, regular WWE fan base that happens to live in Las Vegas, okay?
It's going to be like the NXT. It's going to be the NXT fan base, I think.
If it's just WWE fans that live there, they're going to boo Dom because the thing to do is boo Dom. That's what you do when you go to a WWE show. You boo Dom. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, but I also think they're going to boo the guy that they don't know, because I think your normie WWE fans that are probably your NXT people or whatever, that's who I think is going to the show, are WWE hardcores and NXT fans and those kind of people. I think to them, they're going to cheer the superstars and they're going to boo these other random Mexican dudes that I don't know.
I see what you're saying, but if you're that hardcore enough of a WWE fan, you know Vikingo now. Because you watched Worlds Collide.
Yeah, but I don't think you give a fuck about him. I think your normie WWE fan doesn't give a fuck about Vikingo, and
they still see Dom as the star.
Correct. Dominic is a superstar that's on the national television, and this other guy is just some dude from some Mexican indie. Is what they're going to think.
Well,
Vikingo
will they cheer
is.
Mr. Iguana?
Oh God, yes. But
So
they've been
Mr.
promoted.
Iguana-
But Mr. Iguana, the difference of how WWE has promoted Mr. Iguana versus how they've promoted Vikingo is, and that's my point that I mentioned a couple minutes ago. They're promoting Mr. Iguana as the top star of AAA in this company. He's got merch, and they promote it on TV.
So they'll cheer Mr. Iguana, they'll cheer Psycho Clown. But you think they'll boo Vikingo?
Yeah, I do.
Well, if they can't even get Vikingo over to their regular fan base, then what the fuck is even the point?
I agree.
When are we just going to accept that this guy just never gets over? He might be dynamic and exciting, but he just doesn't get over, if that's the case. Sometimes people just don't get over. You know what I mean? As much as you want them to get over, sometimes they just don't. I mean, Shota Umino can't get over.
Renayabe. I can't wait to talk about Renayabe main eventing whatever building that was where you could hear one baby smacking his lips together. It was so silent in that building. I could hear a baby sucking on a pacifier, for God's sakes.
Man, well, you are chomping at the bit to bury this All Japan tournament. You keep bringing it up. You're like rubbing your hands together over there.
I'm just a tease in the business, calling it a tease. People are on pins and needles waiting for us to get to the Royal Road / Kings Road / All Japan single elimination tournament that resembles the New Japan Cup. But AAA first.
Remember, they're stacking this with the Canelo fight, as we're being told in the chat. So maybe they're banking on heavy Latino boxing fans to check out the Lucha Libre as a side event. But I don't know if it's just like, I think specifically Mexicans would be into AAA, not so much the entirety of the Latino boxing fan base. Why would like a Puerto Rican or a Dominican give a fuck?
Right. Well, Canelo. I mean, obviously him being Mexican or whatever. If you're a big fan of Canelo,
so they're hoping a lot of Mexicans are in town for Canelo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not working. I could say, looking at these numbers, it's not working. Yeah. We don't have to do hypotheticals. The show's fucking tomorrow, and they haven't sold out the Cox Pavilion, so it's not working.
If it was working, they'd be in the fucking Thomas and Mack Center. If it was working,
and Canelo, that's at like the big fucking football stadium, right?
Canelo and Crawford is what building? Is it really in the football?
I think it's at the football stadium. Yeah, I think it's in the football stadium.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's doing well ticket wise, but clearly a lot of people are coming into town to watch that fight, and a lot of people are not buying tickets to it's at Allegiant Stadium. It's at the big stadium. So I don't know what the attendance is, but
it's going to be fucking 70,000 people is what it is. So they can only get 2,000 of them.
It's supposed to be 65,000 is what they're estimating it to be, and they have barely 2,000 people coming to Worlds Collide. So yeah.
So that strategy didn't work. No. Is the point?
No. And it is Mexican Independence this weekend too. I forgot about that. That's why I'm seeing the flags all over. Driving around, a bunch of flags everywhere. Yeah.
Mexican Independence. Well, I'm not familiar with it. Listen, I'm surrounded by Mexicans. How come I'm not aware of this?
I don't know. You don't see. There's not people driving cars with the Mexican flag hanging out of their sunroof. That's what I get. I drive to work and everyone's got these gigantic flags. I mean, they're like car dealership size. Because you know how some car dealerships have the big giant American. You're like, holy fuck, that American flag is so big. Like they have that hanging out of their sunroof. So they have like a flagpole, and then they open their sunroof just enough and then close the sunroof so that it can just kind of hang out of the sunroof. And they drive by, and it's so loud as they drive by this massive flag, it's like flopping in the wind or whatever. And that's how I know. They do it for Puerto Rican Independence Day too, or Puerto Rican Day or whatever the fuck it is. So
counterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
What if you haven't left your house since you went grocery shopping last Friday?
Then you probably wouldn't have seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless your neighbor comes outside and waves the flag in the middle of the street. Yeah, you probably wouldn't have seen it.
What if I don't look out the windows at my neighbors either? What if
the blinds are drawn?
Yeah. So I don't know what the Lopez family's doing down the street. I got to be honest. I got no clue.
So I
know that they're there because the kid goes to school with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the fuck they're doing down there. I don't even know if they're Mexican, to be honest with you. Lopez in Texas. They're probably Mexican. But I don't know.
Yeah,
what the
you
fuck
don't know
they're
that
doing.
for sure. I can't say for sure.
I don't know for sure. How can I verify that?
Could
I can't
be,
verify that.
Oh yeah.
When the kid comes knocking, I can't be like, "Hey man, are you from Honduras or Texas?
Are you Dominican or Mexican? What are you, kid? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so
You Puerto Rican or what? What's the deal? What's the Lopez?
Yeah,
give me the
with
family
here?
history. Give me the family history, kid.
We going off the board with Panama? What's going on?
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of Panama, Venezuela. It could be Venezuelan. Who the fuck knows?
Could be any number.
So
of
I didn't.
things.
Oh my god, this is even bigger of a failure. This is an underreported story, Joe, that we have uncovered here. It's Mexican Independence this weekend. Canelo and Crawford is happening in Allegiant Stadium, and 65,000 people are going to be in the building.
Right.
And they can barely get 2,000 people to go to the Cox Pavilion for this show.
I think it's not great. It's not great.
God. Pagano and Psycho Clown versus the New Day. Remember the greatest heel turn of all time until the other greatest heel turn of all time? And now the second great, the new updated greatest heel turn of all time has already been rescinded by John Cena being like, oh, whoa, that was weird. Sorry. And now he's just kind of normal again. But this greatest heel turn of all time, Joe, I don't know. I don't know about this New Day heel turn. I don't know if it's been very successful. I guess would be my hot take.
It hasn't. What don't you know? They've done nothing with it.
I gotta wait. I have to wait to fully assess it.
You don't have to wait. The last pay-per-view, they were doing the comedy skit with the pizza with Akira Tozawa. They're not. It led to nothing. It's Levesque. He never.
Joe,
has
it was the
ideas.
greatest heel turn of all time until the other greatest heel turn of all time. Come on, you got to be telling me something had to have happened here.
This also goes to show that our crusade against piped-in booze. If something's not really over, you can't really do much with it. So you make it out like something is pretend over, and what is it? Like that's no good. What does it make for? It makes for a better television product, right? Because you're creating a fake studio audience with, please clap. But look, we talked about it at the time where it was the fake booze to stop Xavier Woods from speaking that were clearly piped in. And then Levesque just abandoned it and did nothing with them. I thought Big E was going to come back. I thought all these things were going to happen. Odyssey Jones, whatever happened there. We'll talk about him later.
Oh, the Big O.
And
right, I forgot.
Yes. Odyssey. My kid plays that game on his fucking Switch. Odyssey. Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, good game. I like Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, you throw the hat like the character from James Bond. The guy, you throw the fucking hat. I said that to him. I'm like, he throws the hat like the guy from James Bond. He's like, from what?
Like Odd Job. It's like, okay. That's it. That one holds up. Most James Bond movies stink. I hate to say it. They stink. They're not very good.
They stink. I hate James Bond.
They're not. Even as a kid, I was like, this is going to be good, right? And they're usually not.
No.
Goldfinger holds up, though. Goldfinger is pretty great. That's one of the few. There's like three. There's like three that are good all time, but most of them stink.
I was always like, fuck this guy. I don't find him interesting. Fuck this guy. I don't know. Like, he's not going to die. So what the fuck am I even like? I'm too logical for James Bond movies. He's going to fuck the girl and he's not going to die. Okay, there you go. What do you need to watch for? And they're going to play the gimmick, the song. Dun-dun, dun-dun. I don't know why I'm tumming the Dragnet song, but
yeah, that was Dragnet. That was not the James Bond song.
How's the James Bond song going? It goes, "Get me going," and then I can do it.
No, I want you to try. This is good.
All right. Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. That's not James Bond.
That's not it. No, you're not there.
Or something.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I don't know like the main part. I can't think of the main part. That's like the start with the big
and then you get kind of the little drum kicks in between. Yeah. It's a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right.
It works better with the gun and the
where he's in the pose, the silhouette.
Right.
And he
it works a little bit better with
and the bullet goes across the screen.
Right.
Like, and then it gets real like you're saying, a little kick drum.
a little, yeah, a little kick drummy, a little jazz housey for a second there, and then
yeah. But here's the problem: by that time, I'm changing the channel, so that's why I don't know the rest of the song.
Right. You're like, Octopussy, no thank you, I'm good. Yeah, all right, yeah. There's probably a game on. There's probably San Diego State's probably playing on CBS Sports Network. I'm just going to watch that
Exactly. They're on the bubble. I need to lock in. And I probably got a 10 timer on it too. So why would I fucking watch James Bond fuck the girl and not die? It's all the same shit. We're going to get killed for it. We always get killed when we make fun of shit because we have a wide range of listeners and there's probably some James Bond sickos out there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're going to cancel their subs. You're going to read those dopey exit interviews that I tell you not to read. I beg you not to read the exit interviews, but you read them anyway. And next week it's going to be, as a James Bond fan, I can't believe. So I can't,
conscience, yeah.
I can't support you guys because, you
Octopussy is a great movie.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen. And you're going to be like, Joe, should I email this guy and tell him that I really liked Goldfinger? And I'm like,
tell him no. I like Thunderball. I really did. I promise I like Thunderball. It's okay. You don't have to leave. So
I'm like, Rich, you got to let him go. Like TV4 on Sundays. I just have to let it go when that buffering wheel comes up. You got to let the Bond fan go if that's what's going to upset him.
I'm like, I'll tell him I'm a Roger Moore guy. I swear, I like Roger Moore movies. They're really good.
Yeah. So. And maybe you are, but I think it'll be too late at that point.
No, and he'll be a Timothy Dalton guy anyway, so it won't matter. But
and that right, you have to guess the right guy.
Right.
You got to guess the right guy. And you got like a 1 in 4 shot, to be fair, as long as you don't guess the guy that did like one movie. I forget that guy.
Lazenby. What was it? George
Lazenby?
George Lazenby, I think. Yeah, I forget which one he did, but yeah, it was him. Because it was Connery, then it was that dude one time, and clearly they're like, well, this isn't going to work. And then they went back to Connery. He's like, yeah, I'll do it again. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then they went Roger Moore. And then, there was another, who's the in-between guy? There was an in-between guy between Roger Moore and Pierce Brosnan.
Dalton.
Timothy Dalton. Yes.
He was after Roger Moore, and then he was before Pierce Brosnan.
Correct. He was the buffer there. And then, obviously, Daniel Craig, and now I don't really care about I think they're still making them, but I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. So.
Yeah. But not with Daniel Craig. He's like...
No.
I got to be honest. I don't think he's good-looking enough for Daniel Craig. I don't think he's good-looking enough. I don't think he has the right look, Craig. He don't look like James Bond.
Daniel Craig. He's not as coiff. Yeah, he's not as coiff as those guys.
He's got a different kind of look. Those other guys look like James Bond. He don't look like James Bond. He don't look like James Bond. I got to vote no on him.
Yeah.
Not like I'll ever watch any of them. But Pierce Brosnan looked like fucking James Bond. That guy don't look like James Bond. They had to drag Connery back. He's like, all right, I'll stop slapping my wife and I'll make another one. After Lazenby fucking failed. Right?
He got done with Zardos and said, all right, fine, I'll come back.
Well, God damn it, I didn't know it was all failing. I'll stop beating up my wife and I'll come make another. And he had to drag him back. All right, well.
Yeah. He's a big tax evader, too, wasn't he?
Who?
Connery. I think Connery was a...
Tax evader?
Yeah.
Good for him.
I think him and JBL. A lot of vacations to Aruba in their days, I believe. So.
Listen,
longed for the island life, I believe. So,
yeah.
You might have found out about Larry Ellison, one of the guys bankrolling the Ellisons that are bankrolling this Paramount deal. He literally owns an island. He owns a Hawaiian island, like the 5th largest island in Hawaii. He just fucking owns it. He owns 98% of it.
This Ellison guy?
Yeah. Like you could just buy an island. If you're that rich, you just say, I like this Hawaiian island. I'm going to just buy it. So he owns 98% and the state of Hawaii owns 2%, which I believe is like the shoreline or something like that technically you can't own, but he owns it all, like the physical, all the rest of the island is just he owns it.
When you have that level of wealth, you're so unrelatable that like I don't like it bothers people that they're that unrelatable, but to me I'm like it makes me unbothered by it. I'm like, you're not even a real person to me when you have that level of wealth. Which is why, like, I don't get, like, fuming mad about wealthy people like other people do. Like, you're not even real to me. Like, all right, whatever. You're fake. You're like a fake person. I overpaid my gas bill by accident because I clicked the button 3 times. And now I don't have to pay my gas bill for the next 3 months. And it's like a little happy accident because I gave them $180 instead of $60. And you're not even in the same fucking universe as that. You've never seen a gas bill. I don't, it just doesn't bother me when these people are that rich.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
well,
whatever,
you always
man.
talk about this with Tony Khan, where Tony Khan will tweet out, like, as an AEW pay-per-view is happening, like, the main event's hitting the ring, order now on pay-per-view.com. And it's like, Tony, no normal human being is going to pay $50 because MJF and Hangman is hitting the ring right now. Like, they're just going to wait till tomorrow.
Money's not real to Tony.
Right. And he's like, well, someone's going to see this and say, fuck, I want to watch that match. Here's my $50. Right. But most normal humans are going to say, no, I can't spend that.
Yeah. Tony,
right now.
No one's buying a pay-per-view while it's on. Right. It's a $50 investment. You're either in at the start or you're not in. But he thinks if he sends those tweets before the main event gets in the ring that he's going to get some late buys. It doesn't work like that. But he doesn't understand money. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he was raised kind of normal for a rich
right,
kid,
right.
By
yeah,
rich
his father tried
standards.
to normally raise him. Yes.
Yeah. So there's just a complete disconnect. Like Joey Janela always tells those funny stories where like they'd be like a group of them would just be hanging out and he'd be like, hey, let's order some tacos. How many do you think we need? Like 150? And Janela would be like, no, we need like 10. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, why are you ordering 200 tacos? It's just because there's no, it's just like, let's just make sure we have enough. And because it doesn't matter. You know, dropping $300 on tacos, it's like, it's like it may as well be free, you know? So, you know, it's just in a completely different reality. They don't have a reality. When there's nothing you can't afford.
So it's a very different reality. Yeah, it might be a reality, but it's a very different reality than the rest of us live in. Hey, by the way, Natalya versus Fabi Apache for the Reina de Reyes #1 contendership, man.
This is some review.
Yeah. Natalya versus Fabi Apache. That should be a main event in any building. Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana versus the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez. Wagner 3, our guy Wagner 3, interested to see how he does here in the WWE affiliated AAA versus JD McDonough, Ethan Page, and Dragon Lee in a 4-way for the Latin American title. And then Lince Dorado and the LWO and Mini Abismo Negro versus what was supposed to be La Parca, but now has been replaced by Laredo Kid, Mascarita Sagrada, Nino Hamburguesa, and Octagon Jr.
Well, I remember they put LA Park on the poster initially.
Yeah.
And LA Park had to let everyone know, hey, I'm not going to be in Las Vegas on
me. Because they got like a WCW cutout of LA Park, like from 1997, and put them on the poster. And obviously the current AAA La Parca, a little bit different body shape than that.
And it's like the fourth guy down the lineage of gimmicks. I retract everything I said about why they're not going after CMLL talent. The real reason is, do you think they know that CMLL exists? Do you think they even know it exists?
That too. They're so fucking stupid. They don't even know that there's another Mexican wrestling company. Yeah.
They might not even be aware of it.
Juice Daddy, no Microman. No. Couldn't get the booking.
Oh, really? No Microman on the show, huh?
No.
Well, that's good.
Only 2 minis. Only Mini Abismo Negro and Mascarita Sagrada allowed here.
Well, I can't stand that little fucker, Microman. So I'm fine.
I can't stand that little fucker. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. CMLL, they're running Friday night as well. Big main event here. I talked about this a little bit in the news report I did at flagshippatreon.com, but Bandito and Brody King defending the AEW tag team titles. No, I will not call them Brodito. Versus Defunto and Zandokan Jr. That sounds like a fucking awesome match.
That's going to be a great match. Obviously, you're not going to get a title change. But yeah, that has the potential to be a really great match. Now, is Mystico on? He's not on that show, right?
No Mystico.
So here's the question. Is this going to be 8,000 people, which is nothing? Is this going to be an MJF number, or is this going to be a Mystico, or are they going to fill the place without Mystico with Bandito on top? It's interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do a good number regardless.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the margins are what are important for Arena Mexico. Like a Friday Arena Mexico is going to get like X amount. It's all about those margins because Mystico, it's like a snap your fingers and it's sellout. And some of these other guys, it's not always that case. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see with Bandito.
But always packed.
Yeah,
always packed.
Always.
They're the promotion of the year, right? I mean,
I think if you're doing any reasonable voting, probably
Mystico's the Flair Thez winner, right?
I don't love Mystico's work. Nobody draws like him, but I don't love his work.
I don't either, but his work's good enough. It's not like he stinks.
Yeah, I guess it's okay.
He's had some really good matches this year.
He has had some good matches this year. Yeah.
And he sells out every building he steps into. And you want to sprinkle in a little selling out Cicero every time MLW goes and all this other shit if you want to really tack onto the case. I mean, I don't know. I don't see myself voting for anyone, Flair Thez. Oh, I'm probably not going to vote. But if I were going to vote, I can't see myself. Why would I vote for anyone other than Mystico? Who else even has a really strong case?
As a blended approach, he's pretty near the top there for sure. And yeah, the work's good enough, I suppose. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not like a guy that sells out the buildings but is the drizzling shits. It's not like a couple of those years where you'd have to kind of hem and haw about some, Roman Reigns or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but his work fucking sucks. So it's like, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You're voting for a pretty good worker, even if you don't think he's one of the best workers in the world or one of the best wrestlers in the world or whatever.
Not only that, you see a difference when he's not on the show. So it's him drawing.
Yeah, right.
They go from 8,000 to 13,000. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't know. To me, it's open shut. I don't even think I'm considering. There's no one in New Japan. Goto was a contender for a while, but he got hurt. He's out. The Cody Cena thing didn't work. Cody's not as hot as he's been in other years. Roman's not around. Hangman Page doesn't have a strong enough case. Although I'm sure he'll get plenty of support, but I mean, look at their attendance and their television ratings. All Out was a success, but what else does Page have on the resume? He's got really good matches. Who else in AEW? I mean,
really nobody.
You're not going to give it to Mox because Mox's run got off to such a rough start. Although, I think Mox has a sneaky case, like down ballot, but you can't vote for him. Number one.
No.
So where are you going to turn? I mean, where are you going to go? Like, is there someone in Stardom that
I would say Saya Kamatani is probably a good and Stardom is a promotion that if you really wanted to, if you didn't feel right with CMLL, I think Stardom, basically Green Arrow is pointing up on all their business and setting records all the time and her being at the top of the company. So if you wanted to make a case and having great matches too. So yeah, she would be, if you wanted to vote for her, I would say her and Mystico are probably the best for the blended approach of what that award is supposed to be. I think Mystico or Saya Kamatani is probably your only picks that I would really make at this point right now in early September, but I don't think a whole lot's going to change over the next couple of months.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Mystico is a very clear leader while admitting my ignorance on Kamatani.
Yeah.
I think Mystico is the clear leader of the look, everyone has blind spots. So to me, Mystico is the clear leader. So based on the wrestling that I am privy to, which would not include Stardom. So I don't know. I don't even know if I could craft a case for, I guess I could make a case for Cody. But Cody almost feels boring. Like he had better years and already won a bunch of shit.
Right.
This wouldn't be the year where you know what I mean? There's no vibes with Cody this year. And Mystico is legitimately a monster fucking draw by any standard. By anyone's standard, any company's standards, he's a monster draw. Can Cody draw 13,000 people every week in the same building?
It's in the same building.
Could he do that in MSG every week?
Hell no.
There's not a fucking chance. There's not a chance. They'd get bored of it eventually.
Well, and like you said, a noticeable difference because it'd be like, okay, 1 week Cody is on the show, and then the next week he's not.
And it'd be the same fucking attendance.
Right. But the week, Mystico is he's not on the show, and then 4,000, 5,000 fewer people go. That's pretty big. That's a big fucking deal. And by the way, anniversary show, which presumably he'll be in a major match. I don't know if it's going to be the main event. Him and MJF, I believe, is already trending towards a sellout for that one too, and that's on the 19th for the anniversary show.
Here's the thing too. It's not just Arena Mexico. This guy will work a show, drive 8 hours to another show, and sell that building out. if you pay attention to what Mystico's doing. Like, and he does this every weekend. Like, I don't know. To me, he's the clear leader. We only have 3 months left. So, anyway, what else? We done with the Lucha here?
I think we're done. I think we're done Lucha-wise. Right. Let's go to, let's talk about this. All Out, we could talk a little bit more about the All Out card next week, because obviously that'll fully come together a bit. Real quick, let's talk about these TV ratings trends, because we do have the Dynamite rating now, so we can touch on that. So our theory, and we talked about this a little bit last week, our theory that something funky was going on with cable TV and the TV wrestling ratings the last few weeks looks to maybe have had some merit, because both Collision and SmackDown were up big in the last week. Now, SmackDown, of course, and there's a reason. I mean, SmackDown makes sense because they had the AJ Lee thing. Brock Lesnar came back, but still, they had 1,585,000 viewers on the September 5th, total viewers on that SmackDown. That is up 38% week over week, and the demo number was a 0.51, which is up 82% week over week. So SmackDown was the top show of the night across both cable and broadcast in that 18 to 49. Now, they had a record low the week before, and then they jump up here. Now, theirs makes a little bit more sense because of AJ, because of Brock. So you could say, okay, well, that just, it makes sense why SmackDown was going to be up. But Collision came back just a day later. They averaged 300,000 viewers. Total viewers, and a 0.07 in the 18 to 49. That 0.07, not a huge number, but it was up 75% week over week, because the week before was a 0.05, and the overall viewership went from 300,000, or went up to 300,000 from 195,000, a 54% jump. So, and that Collision show, I mean, I thought it was a great show, but I don't know that that's all build and promotion. I think something weird was going on.
Well, a great show doesn't draw because you don't know it's going to be great.
Right.
Well, Dynamite was up 24%
exactly
viewership and 9% in demo.
Right.
So
on a very tough night with a big time news story that a lot of people were worried about. So something funky was going on here, because that Dynamite rating jumping as much as it did in light of everything that was going on in the news and whatnot leads me to believe that something was funky for a week or two with those ratings.
Well, I'm looking for the Meltzer tweet. He did note that the total universe of 18 to 49 television viewers did in fact increase. So you're dividing the viewership into a larger number, which is making the demo numbers lower. Remember, we talked about that last week. That is in fact the case. And it's a race to get to his tweet. It was just it was about an hour before we went on the air. Let me see if I could find it. Let's see. I got some fat fingers, let me tell you. I'm trying to search on this phone. All right, here it is. Here's a Dave tweet. Yes, they changed how the numbers are counted. Used to be you divide by 134 million, 18 to 49 total viewers in the U.S., and now it's 136 million. So it went up by 2 million. It's silly in the sense that fewer homes get TBS than any time since the late 90s, but the divided by number is higher because that's how they calculate the rating. Internally, the number is 0.39. That's the number TBS uses as the percentage of those who actually get the station. That's something else that people don't understand because it's not public. These networks use their own internal numbers that are more realistic view of how many people, because they're dividing by, all right, how many people actually get our station versus how many people are in the total viewing universe in each of the demos. Then that number went up 2 million. So that number went up 2 million while the total number of cable households went down again. So that's artificially going to bring down some of these Dynamite numbers because we're dividing into a larger number, even though less people are getting TBS. And as each passing quarter goes by, more and more people are going to be watching on Max. So that's something to consider too.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, it was interesting how all the numbers looked so much better this week. So if this trend, if it comes back and now we start to level out a little bit, we'll have to look at that one couple of weeks as something. I don't know. Cause that number.
Well, look, I just think that, basically what it means is our conversation last week was probably a waste of time.
Yeah.
And when you talk ratings on a granular week in, week out level, and we don't do it every week, but we do it more than most, you're going to have times where you have a conversation that didn't mean anything because sometimes ratings are just wonky. That happens a lot. And maybe that's what this was, since everything just rebounded so sharply with gigantic percentage increases this
insane.
week.
Yeah, insane job.
Now, SmackDown, the AJ Lee thing, I think there's an interesting conversation to be had there, because I think WWE did a really remarkable thing, and they took what was nothing more than a mid-card wrestler when she was with the company originally, and this is the art of promoting. And they made it feel like, with plenty of help from their very happy to help wrestling quote unquote media, made it feel like a gigantic superstar was returning. And it worked to the tune of the rating you just saw. Now, I think Brock contributed to that too. And this is not me defending Brock or his presence in that lawsuit or some of the disgusting things he said to Janelle Grant. I think our listeners understand that, but I will preface it for anyone listening for the first time. But I think Brock contributed to that too, because if you think for 1 second the WWE fan base is put off or disgusted by Brock being on the show, you're nuts. They don't care. They like that Brock is back in the meaningful numbers. There's a statistically insignificant number of people who aren't going to watch because Brock is there, sure. But concerning AJ Lee, man, did they do a great job. I mean, she was nothing but a mid-card wrestler, and they completely retconned her history, and they've weaved her into a main event angle with 3 main eventers, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch. So that helps, and the story makes sense, and she's been gone a long time, but she was never high on the card at WrestleMania. She was never a pay-per-view main eventer. She was never anything more than a mid-carder. But you would think, by the way that they've presented her, that one of the biggest stars in the history of her era was coming back.
Right, a transformative character in professional wrestling history is returning to the business after 10 years away. And again, like you said, the House Organ Media definitely helping promote that too. But yeah, that's fucking promoting. I mean,
and you know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because the people running wrestling media today were kids when she was there and a star, right? So they have the nostalgia for her. These are people that were the perfect, because it was 10 years ago. So if you're 25 years old and you're running some influencer account, you were 15 when she was around the first time, and she is a big deal to you. She was a star to you. She wasn't a real star in pro wrestling terms. So they're willing to play along with WWE retconning this and pretending that she was some big deal in real time, because she absolutely was not. I'll debate anybody. I mean, I don't have to tell she wasn't a big deal at all. She was a mid-card. She was a nice little mid-card wrestler who was useful to have around because she was pretty popular for a mid-carder. That's it. Show me her WrestleMania main events.
Right, they used her in the GM role for a little while too. They used her in a couple roles like that, but yeah, it was never nothing significant. And when the big times came and the big shows came, she kind of stepped out of the way. And then yeah,
she wasn't. Show me all the main events then if she was such a big time star. Okay, but WWE has leveraged the nostalgia from when she was there the first time. And these, we don't have a wrestling media. We know that. What we have are wrestling influencers. We have wrestling engagement accounts. We have very few legitimate wrestling media. There's like 3 people who do legitimate wrestling media on this earth. The rest of them are all chasing engagement. They all have nostalgia for AJ Lee. And then when they see that there's a thirst for AJ Lee nostalgia and the way WWE has pushed her, they're going to continue to leverage it to get that engagement and to get those likes and to get the hits. So then it snowballs. And I'm not knocking that.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and WWE gets the ball rolling on that, and that's what they should do, because that's what promoting is all about.
Bingo. That's my point. They have the ability to leverage this with almost anyone from a previous era who comes back after a long time, because this is a fan base that will buy you sell that, they will buy it. Whereas other wrestling fan bases won't necessarily buy that if you try to sell it. But the WWE fan base, and it really, I can't overstress how much it helps to have this army of free PR people doing that work for you. With all of these engagement accounts on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok, pushing this idea that AJ Lee is some transcendent star returning, to the point where I was starting to see headlines on mainstream sites of what a big deal this was as she was coming back. This was a masterclass, A+ job of promoting, because that's the name of the game, making whoever you're promoting feel like the biggest deal on earth. And that is such an edge that WWE has on AEW, because Tony Khan does not have the ability to get someone over as strongly as WWE got AJ Lee over this week.
It was a masterful job. And there's also the other aspect, too, of similar to Punk. It's like, we got her back in the fold. She's back with the family or whatever, because she said disparaging things in the past, but now she's back with the family. So there's always a little bit of that tinge to it as well, and that aspect of it, too, that comes across weird. But hey, WWE they're very good at promoting. And they're very good at getting their army of people to help promote for them, too. So, hey, if you can get it, good work if you can get it, I guess would be the best way to put it for that. But speaking of WWE real quick, and then we'll move on to last few topics on the show. Not official yet, but several reports have indicated that Saudi Arabia is getting WrestleMania in 2027. Dave Meltzer said it is for sure happening. PW Insider noted that the report and rumors were real, expecting an announcement very soon. And just before we got on the air here, Paul Levesque was teasing that some sort of announcement is probably coming this weekend regarding something big. I forget what he said. He's like, "Oh, you haven't seen anything yet," or something. I forget exactly what his words were. But yeah, the idea here is that Saudi Arabia is getting WrestleMania in 2027. Obviously, next year's WrestleMania is going to be back in Las Vegas for a 2-night affair, even though it was previously announced as being for New Orleans. And they said, "Hey, sorry, Las Vegas is paying more, so New Orleans, you're shut out of luck. You can get WrestleMania in a future year." That can's probably getting kicked down the road even further now with the Saudi Arabia thing. And also Saudi Arabia will host the Royal Rumble in January 2026 too, so don't forget that. So there is that's pretty big implications and ripple effects of this. But a Saudi WrestleMania in 2027, what does that make you feel, Joe? Or have you kind of become numb to this now? With it's just like whatever. It's
I don't. Of course. Listen, whatever, man. What am I supposed to do?
Right.
Go outside and fucking with a picket sign? And I mean, we all knew this was coming. I mean, who didn't know that WrestleMania was going to be in Saudi Arabia someday? I mean, we're well past the point. What are you going to? They're as long as they're willing to pay more the money, they'll do anything in Saudi Arabia,
right?
Including WrestleMania. They're going to do 2 nights of WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. You see, even the Saudis are, I think it was Dave Meltzer who reported this. Even the Saudis are savvy enough to understand that they need to pay for 2 nights, because if they only pay for 1 night of WrestleMania, they will piss off the American fans who are now expecting 2 nights of WrestleMania every year. So they're even smart enough to understand that they have to do a double night of WrestleMania in fucking Riyadh or wherever the fuck they're going to do it. So look, why I don't know if you're surprised about this. I have to ask you why. Like,
right?
You didn't think that this was coming at some point? Of course, this was coming.
Yeah, it's just inevitable that this is going to happen. Now, as far as like, I'm curious if they still do a WrestleMania in America this year. But again, like you said, they're savvy enough. They're savvy enough that if you say, "Oh yeah," because that used to be the case. Like there was the Greatest Royal Rumble, or there was this, this show here, and that, but then they would do their normal shows in America. I think the Saudis are probably smart enough at this point to say, no. We get the Royal Rumble. You're not doing a Royal Rumble here and then going back to America and doing a Royal Rumble. No. The Royal Rumble is coming home to us in January 2026. Because as far as we know, it's only going to be one Royal Rumble, and it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. And as far as this WrestleMania in 2027, I would, if I'm Saudi, I'm going to do the same thing as well and say, no. You don't get to do 2 nights of WrestleMania here and then go back to America and do a, WrestleMania in New Orleans. No. We are paying for WrestleMania. Right. They're smart enough to know that, and they have enough leverage, and they can push that around, and they have enough money to say, no. You're not coming back there. So that's going to be the really interesting thing to see, is if WWE tries to still do stuff in America on both those events, or if they just full on just give that to Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia is the highest bidder. I would say they're going to go with the highest bidder because they don't fucking care anymore. And Ari Emanuel keeps telling you that. Whoever bids high, that's where we're going to go. You pay us for your shows. I don't know if you saw that from him this week, too. They're talking about doing Raw and SmackDown and doing site fees for Raw and SmackDown, and how that's a new thing that they're going to try to do in the coming years as well. I think his quote was,
why not?
Yeah, of course. His quote was, well, if we come to your town and we put 12,000 people in your arena, you better believe that the next time we come to town, you have to pay us for that. Was essentially what he said. And again, this is the guy that runs this company. We said these are fucking sharks. These are soulless capitalists. And he's I said this exact quote last week, and I'm so glad that he came back and said what he said about Vince McMahon. I always said Vince McMahon saw himself as a soulless capitalist and, I'm a billionaire and all this sort of stuff. No, he was running a successful family business. He was a guy who came up in a family business that was running a very, very, very successful family business. He is out, and these new sharks have come in, and they're basically saying, and they basically, I talked about it earlier in the show, they said Vince McMahon priced for families, we're pricing to maximize profits, is essentially what our Emmanuel said. And also that, yeah, your town, if we come to, Des Moines and put 10,000 people in your arena, well, we're not coming back unless you pay us the next time, because we're going to put 10,000 people in your arena again. So, yeah, that's the future here. So I don't think that they're going to say, we better give our American fans a WrestleMania or else they're going to be upset. They're going to say, fuck you, we're going to WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia because they're paying us a bunch of money, and you guys are just going to deal with it anyway. And guess what? Their fans are just going to deal with it anyway, and the House Organ media is just going to deal with it anyway, pretending that, like you said, people are going to pick it and get mad. That's not going to happen. Be a couple tweets. There'll be a couple tweets about it's really disappointing that WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia, and then WrestleMania will come in Saudi Arabia, and there'll be hashtag WrestleMania, sob emoji. I can't believe it. It's Steve Austin versus The Rock one more time. Sob emoji. Like, that's all it's going to be. I mean, we all know this.
Yeah, well, they're throwing around huge money to get everyone on the. I mean. And they'll get some of them, and they'll get most of them.
They're going to be so bad. It's all these old dudes just getting paid.
Gigantic spectacles. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. If you want to charge people site fees to bring 12,000 people to Des Moines, Iowa, you need to draw 12,000 people to Des Moines, Iowa. Because if you look at these TVs, they're not drawing those kind of numbers anymore in all of these cities. I mean, they have a lot of TVs coming up where there's like going to be 6,000 people in the building. That kind of that drop didn't happen overnight. But there has been this incremental, slow drip drop in their rank and file, Raw and SmackDown attendance to the point where in some of these towns now, they're doing like 7,000 people.
Yeah.
So these cities aren't going to be paying if you're bringing 5,000 people to fucking Minneapolis. They're not going to pay for that. They got to get super hot again if they want to start charging for that shit. Because then you have to deliver. The Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, yeah, that shit's going to deliver. And these cities feel like they're getting a return on their investment. Are you getting a return on your investment when Raw comes to town on a Monday and there's 6,300 people in the building?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think you are.
I don't think so. I honestly think some of these cities that pay for this shit is wild, too. Like San Diego paying to bring in WWE. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Nobody's going to come to San Diego unless you have a WWE event? Like, what the fuck? Like, put me in charge. I saw that, and I was like, I have to apply for that job of the San Diego, Chamber of Commerce, like, marketing manager. The billboard would just say, it's fucking San Diego. Just come. It's 70 degrees. The weather's perfect every day and everyone's hot. Come to San Diego. Like, why? What the fuck? We better pay WWE to have an event at Petco Park or else no one's going to come to San Diego. It's like, what? Who the fuck's in charge of their Chamber of Commerce, of their marketing? What the fuck?
The Padres have a gigantic video board television behind the batter's eye in center field that faces out of the park because people pay for standing room only just to sit outside and watch the game on a TV that's happening behind the TV.
It's a great area, too. There's a big Tony Gwynn statue. There's a big grassy knoll.
Food to eat.
Yeah.
Places to sit.
It's
great. You sit on the grassy hill.
There. Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
And you watch the game on a fucking 100-foot screen, and the game is happening right behind the screen. So you get the ambiance of the fucking stadium, but you're paying for what do you pay, like $5 for?
It was like $10 or something like that. It was nothing.
Yeah, but you get the whole energy of it, and you're not the obstructed view is saved by the 100-foot fucking screen in the back of the batter's eye because it's San Diego and it's going to be 70 and breezy. So right. It's like, who the fuck would So you're willing to watch a baseball game on a fucking screen instead, So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but at least for these big events like WrestleMania, they're bringing 100,000 people to the city for 5 days. I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Doing it for Raw and SmackDown is just they need to get their attendance back up if that's going to work. But I understand the mindset for sure.
Yeah, he's going to ask for it. you might as well ask for it and see if it happens. But yeah, so I don't know if anybody expected a big long WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Oh my God, I'm so upset. But it was like, of course they're going to go to WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. I mean, that it felt like inevitable. Once that Royal Rumble, that was like the first little, can we try that? Is that going to work? And we'll see what happens in January, but it's going to work, and no one's going to.
I got to be honest, I forgot they're going there for the Rumble.
Yeah.
I forgot because it's like I don't care.
I
don't care.
It's been normalized. It's been very normalized at this point, so it doesn't even register.
It's what they do. They don't have any fucking. It's just all that. So like, what? How am I supposed to analyze something when they just? We all know they're just going to take. If someone was going to pay them a higher site fee to run a show in fucking Zimbabwe, they'd go anywhere. It doesn't fucking matter.
They don't care, and their fans so far don't care either. You know what I mean? So that's why they're even in a better position, because these guys are like,
any pushback.
No, these guys are just soulless capitalists that'll just do whatever, and they don't give a fuck if the fans get inconvenienced, or they don't give a fuck about indies, or no one's gonna know the indies aren't gonna be able to run. They don't. You think they fucking care for 2 seconds about any of that stuff?
I think the indies. I think the collective will pick a city, and I think they're still gonna run.
Well, we were talking about this in the Discord, and I'm curious what you think about this. I think for that Saudi Arabia WrestleMania weekend, Tony should run a big show in America here. You know what? New Orleans, great opportunity. Go to New Orleans and pick a big building and make it cheap and run a show that weekend, and also maybe rent out a building and let the indies do it. Let the indies run that building too, and make it an American wrestling celebration weekend and see what happens.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like totally fade it. Like, those guys are scumbags running in for blood money. Right. And pay, you're right. Pay the venue for the indies. So you just gotta show up.
Let them still get the talent. Like, you don't pay for the talent, but you basically say, okay, look, I'm going to give, you guys, if you want a building, I have a building for you all weekend, and we'll run all fucking weekend, and it'll culminate in a big time show at, I don't know if you're going to do the Superdome or whatever, but a big time show at wherever. And that's going to be our hallmark show of the weekend. But all weekend long, we'll have the UNO arena or whatever, the UNO Lakefront Arena. I'll rent it out for the weekend. And if you guys want to promote there, knock yourself out. You can. Let's celebrate wrestling in America. I think that, if I'm Tony, that's a good time to get a little puffy chested. And
it's true, because none of the Americans are going to go to Saudi to go to WrestleMania.
No.
Well, we say that, but maybe these sickos will.
I hope they do. And by the way, if they do, I got links for you. Go to the voicesofwrestling.com/Ticketmaster and all these. Yeah, please, for God's sakes, go there.
Yes.
Get the flights. You can get flights as well if you go to our schedule and event pages. You can get a flight to Saudi Arabia. That'd be great. If you're going to go, if you are listening to this and you are planning on spending $8,000 to go to WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, please, for God's sakes, let me send you some links before you buy.
Look, listen, guys. Poor Rich won't cough up $109 for League Pass. The least you can do is buy your flight to Riyadh with our link.
Right.
So this guy can watch the fucking Grizzlies play on a Tuesday night. Geez. And believe me, Rich can afford it. Trust me on that one. This guy, believe me.
I thought it was like $400. I'm actually going to get it tonight. I really thought it was like $400, $500 for League Pass.
What planet are you on? It's never been that much. Never.
Maybe the last time I looked, like 100, whatever that amount was more money to me. Like 10 years ago, I'm like $109. That's gonna be tricky. But I guess I've become an asshole. So now I
didn't see this, but someone in the chat says Missy Hyatt asked Effie if he would run Big Gay Brunch in Saudi Arabia.
There was a great joke. I think it was Griffin Peltier, our good friend Griffin Peltier, who put in the chat room, Effie's going to run Big Brunch. It'll just be Effie's Big Brunch. God damn it. I hate that I had to laugh at that, but I did, yeah. Oh, no, it's not a gay brunch. It's just a brunch. We're just eating pancakes and mimosas. Yeah, Effie's Big Brunch. Yeah. And then the chat, I forget all the other ones. The chat was just going nuts with great, collective, having to change the names of various collective events to fit Saudi Arabia. I think it was like Alley Catch's, hot, but, completely covered up girl show or what, forget the exact joke or whatever, but it was good stuff. Yeah. Alley Catch's hot girl shit. I don't know if that one's going to fly.
No.
The Big Gay Brunch probably, maybe a brunch would work, but I don't know if a big gay Brunch would work. Yeah, it's going to be
mimosas, right? You can't have mimosas at this
No. Yeah, someone said, are you going to go to the bottomless tequila show? And I was like, I mean, it's probably not happening. There won't be a bottomless tequila show.
You know, that's an interesting thought if Tony can somehow, but it's risky though, you know, like you run a big pay-per-view head to head with WrestleMania. I guess you could run it in the afternoon.
But that, I mean, I do that to rally the troops. I mean, and I don't think
see what you're
Tony
saying.
doesn't do that enough anymore. And I go back and I read these old observers and I read all these old, and we said this, we would talk about it at the time. We talk about it lately. Like Tony is very scared now to attack WWE and he doesn't ever want to do that. Man, you read these old things and Tony had no problem. No problem. I mean, I'm reading this observer and he's just like, yeah, WrestleMania sucked and SummerSlam sucked and our show was better. And so, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of what he used to do. And now, you know, AEW doesn't do that, but their fuckers are running in Saudi Arabia. I'd run that weekend and say, this is a celebration of wrestling the way it should be. This is pro wrestling here. Those guys are doing it for the highest bidders. We're doing it here because we love professional wrestling. You know, like that's a weekend to get puffy chested for sure. They got to fight back a little bit. Don't let the other guys punch you all the time. Got to punch back every so often. It's not my money, but you know what? He's got, like you said, money's no object. So what's a couple? What's a couple mil? You know, it's a couple mil.
Yeah, it's something that I mean,
it's a pretty good idea.
It's a good idea.
Horrigan answered, it's not my money, so it's a good idea. Great idea, actually.
Horrigan answered, it's not Larry Beal at the Blazer desk. It's Neil Everett, a different
oh my
sports
God,
center.
Neil Everett is at the desk?
He's the Blazers studio guy. I confused him with Larry Beal, so there you go.
As one
Neil
does.
Everett. I was on the right track.
Yeah,
I was on the right track.
Wow, Neil Everett is doing like
he's the Blazers studio guy. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, is he from the area, or did he like get that gig after? He's got to be from the area, right?
I think he's from the area, and I think he made his money, and it's a passion job, I guess, because maybe he's a Blazer fan.
That's cool. That's a nice gig. The studio host is a nice gig.
Yeah.
Just show up, talk for an hour.
Get paid to go to all the games and analyze them.
Yeah, you fuck around for a couple hours, watch the game, come back, talk about the game a little bit, and you're done. That's it. Yeah. That's the day.
Yep.
Good stuff. Anyway, so that's WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Before we get to we got MLW Fightland too, and the Kings Road / Royal Road / single elimination tournament that resembles New Japan Cup for All Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's talk about these pro wrestling deaths, because I wrote a little bit about Jaka. You wrote a little bit about the All Japan kid, Nagao, that passed away. There's another one as well. So we have Rodolfo Ruiz, who was a former wrestler, referee, and the father of Averno, passed away at 86. So the other one's pretty tragic. Obviously, Jaka passed away from a heart attack at 39. Nagao got run over by a bus, by the All Japan bus. Just a horrible, fucking horrific story. Yeah, and at 21 years old, and that's just absolutely awful to somebody pass away at 21. But Ruiz here passed away at 86, so he had a very full.
We could start with
full
him.
life. Yeah, let's talk about Ruiz a little bit.
So that's the father of CMLL wrestler Averno, and he had been with, he had done training and refereeing for many years as well, and some fans might recognize him from there. But, it was interesting because Rob Viper found a video of his only match, or one of the only matches that he ever had on tape. So it was Impala and here's the match here. I'm trying to find the match. It was from Arena Coliseo, and it's towards the end of his career. It's allegedly one of the last few matches he had, so you're not going to get any sense of him as in his prime or anything like that. But he does have a match on tape, Rodolfo Ruiz. So if you search that on YouTube, he teamed with Dick Angelo. That's an easy way to find it. So I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to watch it because that's interesting. I've never seen the guy wrestle, and I wasn't aware they had anything on tape. But yeah, then they did, he died the day of an Arena Mexico show, and they did a whole ceremony in the ring, and Averno was booked for the main event, and he worked it, and I watched the ceremony, and Averno, obviously, I always talk about wrestlers when they're on and when they're not on, it's always in the eyes, right? I always talk about that. And that was one of those situations where you could see Averno, he wasn't in performer mode, because he had the real eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they did the whole tribute to his dad, and then I think he worked that night. So, so that's a sad story there. And then Jaka with the heart attack. I mean, oh my God. I mean, a guy, not even 40 years old. And look, I don't know anything. Look, he's the kind of guy who it's like, I didn't always follow the promotions he worked for. I know Beyond Wrestling used them a lot. Evolve used them for a while there while Evolve was going good. So he would kind of cross into my radar when he showed up in indies that I was following. And he was a guy who was always like, wow, he should get more opportunities. Like, he's really good, especially when he changed up his gimmick and everything. And, he never really broke out in a big way or made it to national TV or anything like that. But it really came out of left field. I wasn't aware of any health issues or anything like that. And I'm not as tapped into the indies as I used to be. But really, anytime he worked somewhere that I was following or watching closely, I was always impressed with him. And
yeah, good worker.
It's just always a downer when someone's that young. And then the kid in All Japan at 21 years old, I mean, forget it. I talked a little bit on Flagship Plus, to get run over accidentally by the All Japan tour bus when he was, probably either loading bags or whatever he was doing. And you have to feel for the bus driver too in a scenario like that. To accidentally kill someone is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. It's something that I hope I never have to experience or understand how that feels. I would rather not understand how that feels. No thanks. I don't want to accidentally kill anyone or anything.
No, I ran over a squirrel like 4 years ago, and I still think about it every day. You know what I mean? Like,
and this is a 21-year-old human.
It's just it's got to be just I can't even imagine how awful you would feel and the pain you would feel. And it sounds like he was in a really bad way pretty much from jump. And it was a matter of just kind of hoping and praying that he was going to get better. And then eventually everyone just saying he's not going to get better. And that hearing that too made it worse. It wasn't like he was, getting, better and worse and oscillating. It really, as you read more and more of it, it's like he got hit and it was bad from the beginning and it never really seemed like it got any better. And eventually they, for lack of a better term, pulled the plug and just said, he's not getting better. So it sucks.
Not lack of a better term. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even how they described it in their press release. And he had been in the ICU since the spring.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's just
so they had the abdominal compression, and then he went into shock, obviously. And, 21 years old, and I forget about the silly wrestling career. I mean, that's an entire life in front of this person, completely wiped away just with a tragic accident. And you just hope that it doesn't turn out to be anything nefarious. You hope All Japan's not covering anything up. You hope that they weren't negligent in some way. You just hope that it was just an accident and one of those horrible things that happens in life that is out of everybody's control. Because if it is, now I'm not suggesting he was murdered or anything, but if it is something where All Japan's covering up small details, or he was doing something he wasn't supposed to do, or someone was doing something with the bus they weren't. If there's that's the kind of thing that could completely put a promotion the size of All Japan out of bed. That'd be an enormous scandal, and it would put them out of business. So, and you just hope from a human level that there's no shenanigans involved either. But it's such a bizarre story that unfortunately you have to have it in the back of your mind. Hopefully it's just a horrible accident, and it's just one of those things that just you can't get, because it's just so terrible.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah. Saw him wrestle a couple times, and he really was just barely got started.
It's hard to have. Yeah, I really don't have an opinion on his career, because it's like, yeah, we were seeing the very, very, very early stages of him, and for Jaka too. For people that didn't follow it, his thing is, he had a heart attack at 39, which is, obviously that's not when you're supposed to have a heart attack at age 39. And in the days that followed, like a bunch of people got a GoFundMe together, and it was like 3 days later he was dead. So I think a lot of people maybe thought that he could be able to kind of get through this, and it was going to be a little bit of rehab and whatnot. And it seemed to be, yes, he had a heart attack and it's going to be a tough road, but, let's do a GoFundMe. Let's try to pay for his bills. Let's try to get things back. And then to have it come, a couple days later, okay, no, he's dead. That was a bit of a shock to me too. Because I'm thinking, okay, a heart attack for a 39-year-old is not very good. And obviously there's going to be a lot of that's going to, be required to get you back on track. And wrestling should be the farthest thing from his mind. And just, being able to live a healthy life after that is fine. Then to hear just a couple days later, okay, he's actually dead, was like, oh, wow. Okay. That's, got 39 not even 40 years old, as I am very close to that age, definitely, hits closer at home too. Cause you're like, shit, that's me. Yeah. That's me passing away. Like just me going away, that just tough. Awful.
I think that part of the reason he kind of was off all of our radars is because he relocated to Florida.
Yeah, he was working Florida Indies, really. Yeah, and I was doing some research for him on for the update I wrote at Flagship, Patreon.com. And yeah, he was doing Boca Raton Championship Wrestling and stuff. It felt like he was just kind of maybe a side gig at this point, Weekend Warrior type stuff. Didn't seem like he was fully like in the game anymore, which, he had been at it for a while. But yeah, from looking at his bookings, it looked like he was just kind of,
Well, my guess is, here's the thing. A lot of those Florida indies are under the radar and don't really
That's true.
They don't get into the cage matches and the wrestling datas of the world. So, I mean, who knows how often he was really working, but he did relocate to Florida, which is why he kind of fell off a lot of people's radars because he wasn't working Beyond anymore. There is no more Evolve in the form that he worked Evolve. So that wasn't even a possibility, but the Northeast Indies, typically get the majority of the attention, the Midwest Indies, but he was down there in Florida, which don't get any attention. Nobody pays attention to Florida Indies really these days anymore. Not since like the glory days of FIP, right? Would be when people were really paying attention to Florida. What other Florida Indies has anyone really ever paid attention to? So who knows how much he was working down there, but that's where he was living now. And it sucks that you have to talk about three of these on one show. And when two of them have clearly did not live a full life, and that's, and the 21-year-old kid, the nature of that. The thing with heart attacks is, like you kind of alluded to, it's almost worse when you have them younger. Like for whatever reason, like what is it? Is that a urban legend? Or I've always heard that it's more dangerous to have a major heart attack when you're younger versus. Because sometimes there's people who've had 3-4 heart attacks.
Yeah, well, I think the idea, and again, I should get the nurse in here. She'd probably be able to tell me a little bit better about it. But I think the idea
that's
here
exactly what she does. The heart.
Yeah, exactly. But it would be more that you're more likely to survive a heart attack, but then have a longer road to recovery. You know what I mean? Like if I have a heart attack now, now I know that I'm susceptible to it. My heart has been damaged. Something may have happened. I may have been out for a little while. I may not have had oxygen to my brain for a little, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that can happen where if you're 85 and you have a heart attack, more than likely that's it. You know what I mean? Your body does not fight it and you're just done. You know what I mean? So that would kind of be it. And now like you're still alive. So now you have to seek out, okay, should I get a heart transplant? Or should I get this? Should I get that? There's a lot more things that relate to it where, if you have a heart attack at 86 or whatever, it's just like, oh, okay, well, you probably are just done, and that in some ways might be easier than, having to go through years and years of rehab and rehabilitation and whatever other damage that heart attack did. Because, if you have a heart attack, it's never good. You know what I mean? It's never a good thing. So I think that's part of it there. But, just a real rough. It was weird because, it was like, oh, he had a heart attack, but, here's a GoFundMe, here's this, and then just boom, dead. And it was just like, wow. Yeah, that just absolutely sucks for him. So. There you go. That is 3 pro wrestling deaths, unfortunately, that we had to talk about. Let's do MLW Fightland here real quick, and then we'll round out with All Japan Pro Wrestling. I've been teasing it all night, but you guys are going to get it here. MLW Fightland streams this Saturday on YouTube. And, Joe, I thought you and I can preview it, but why not? Why do that when I can let the fine folks at MLW's press release? You wanted me to read the press release that was sent to me about MLW Fightland, all right? I'll let them preview the show for us. Okay. So, MLW Fightland comes to Dallas. You going? You going to the NYTEX Sports Center in North Richland Hills, Texas? Come on.
Listen, I did get the media pass offer. But I won't be making the drive.
Oh, man. All right. That's fine. So, anyway, it comes to Dallas with championships on the line, bitter rivalries exploding, and the legendary Don Gatto making his long-awaited arrival. Remember when we said, will they make a character Don Gatto? It appears they are indeed making a character Don Gatto. We'll get to him in a bit. He's the special attraction. Opera Cup opening round. Zanokan Jr. versus Blue Panther Jr. Quote, two dynasties collide as the pirate-fueled fury of Sandokan Jr. meets the technical brilliance of Blue Panther Jr. The Opera Cup has always been about legacy, and both men fight to honor theirs in Dallas.
Oh, well, listen, you got to dress it up.
That's better than us. What were we going to say about that match? That was way pirate. Were you going to say pirate-fueled fury? No, you weren't, but they did.
Well, I definitely wasn't going to say pirate-fueled fury.
Opera Cup opening round match, Ultimo Guerrero versus Esfinge. Quote, the legendary Guerrero looks to add the Opera Cup to his legacy, but Esfinge is out to prove he belongs among Lucha's elite. This first round battle promises fast-paced, hard-hitting Lucha Libre at its finest.
I think it's Esfinge. I don't think it's Esfinge.
Oh, I see.
Esfinge.
Esfinge. All right, whatever. Texas
Esfinge community. No, it's Esfinge. It's Esfinge.
Oh God. Texas death match with the death. I should note emojis next to all of these. Opera Cup had a little trophy emoji. The Texas death match has the skull emoji. Alex Hammerstone versus Matthew Justice. Quote, Hammerstone's road back to the top was derailed when Justice crashed into his title match this summer. Now their war explodes in a Texas death match where the only way to win is to destroy your opponent until he cannot stand. Expect violence, chaos, and carnage.
You remember that. You remember that they did start that feud earlier this year.
Right, yeah.
So we're going to do it. Texas death match.
We got a little crown emoji here for the Women's World Featherweight Championship match. Shoko Nakajima, the world's biggest kaiju, versus Yuki Kamifuku. She was the horrible one that you absolutely hated last. I forget which, because you hated both of them. I forget which one you hated more. But anyway, she's back. So, quote, after viciously attacking Shoko, the undefeated Kamifuku, I think it's like one match. She's undefeated. I think she's 1-0. But anyway, That's fine. She's still undefeated. 1-0 is still undefeated. Your Rams, your Los Angeles Rams, undefeated, right? Undefeated. Flags fly forever. Has demanded a shot at the crown. This is more than a title fight. It's a clash. Oh my God. It's a clash of two of Japan's top stars with pride, prestige, and the future of MLW's women's division on the line. I want to push back on two of Japan's top stars. I'm going to push back
also
on that.
Also, the future of the division on the line. Come on.
I'm going to push back on two parts of that. But
they're now two of Japan's top stars?
Two of Japan's top stars. Yeah, Shoko Nakajima.
Are you denying that, Rich Creech?
I am denying that that Shoko Nakajima and Yuki Kamifuku are two of Japan's top stars. Yes, I'm going to debate that.
Well, I listen. Well, I don't.
I'm going to debate the AI that generated this text. You know what I mean? Like
What are you saying? What do you mean?
I'm going to tell Google Gemini, you are wrong, in fact. I don't think Shoko Nakajima is one of...
And listen, how can the future of the MLW's women division be dependent on these two when Ava Everett is part of the MLW
right,
women's
she
division?
runs that division. She runs that division, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She told everyone she runs the division.
We get a little swords. We get a little sword emoji here for the World Middleweight Championship, which is vacant, by the way. Templario versus Akira Kwan. Quote, the championship left vacant by Mystico has become the center of controversy after Kwan stole the belt. Now the powerhouse Templario steps up to restore honor and walk away with the gold, or Kwan may legitimize his theft on the biggest stage.
Yeah, you can't say they don't build their matches in MLW.
They do. That is exactly how this feud has been built up. This is perfect.
That's right. So they do build the matches. Now, listen, they might do an angle in May that they don't follow up on until September. But they absolutely build their matches. They get there.
All right, so we have another trophy here for the World Heavyweight Championship. Matt Riddle defending the title against Donovan Dijak. Quote, Riddle has survived every challenge since winning the world title in January, but Dijak has proven to be his fiercest rival. Their last clash was thrown into chaos when outside forces interfered. Oh, what do you got?
No, I thought you were done.
No, this is a long one. This is the main event. This is the World Championship, dude. Come on, we got a lot of copy here. Now, MLW President Cesar Duran has made it official. No more delays, no more excuses. The final battle is set.
Yeah, did you see Matt Riddle's unhinged tweet?
Yes.
He's done with the woke agenda, sir. He's done.
Finally. Once and for all.
He's done. He's tired of the bullshit and
with his red hair, with his red pink hair thing.
With his red pink hair. And subscribe to my OnlyFans. You see my big dick. And I'm tired of the woke agenda. And I'm really not even paraphrasing. This is like
no,
what he had to
that's
say.
pretty on the ball.
And,
that's pretty much what it was.
He's tired of everything and the speaking out bullshit and everything else. He went everywhere with it.
He's mad as hell and he's not going to take it anymore. So
he is not taking it. Now you have that end of the spectrum. And then you have the Austin Aries tweet,
I was hoping we could get to this. Yes.
Now I'm sorry, but the Austin Aries tweet is a total beast tweet, and now I'm rooting for the guy.
It's objectively great. It's an objectively great tweet.
It's objectively great tweet. Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic, and I hope he makes it all the way back. Matt Riddle, I don't know. I'm not sure he'll survive till next week, but the Austin Aries tweet was phenomenal.
It's so good. By the way, I'm going to read it right now for everybody. All right, so Daniel Healy at Austin Aries, the rebirth, with a little microphone emoji, the rebirth. 47 years young, 25 years in pro wrestling, 14 years vegan. Brain emoji. Only 2% have an IQ over 135, which, by the way, I looked this up because I was like, that's like adequately gifted is 135. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? It's like a good number, but it's not a great number.
It's only 2%.
Only
2%.
He's right.
Okay.
All right. We get a little broccoli emoji. Only 2% are vegan worldwide.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing the math here as you go.
Yeah. Little hand up. There's a little hand up. Only 10% are left-handed. Me and Austin, kindred spirits here.
Among the 10%.
I don't know what my IQ is, and I'm not a vegan. And then the other one, only 20% remain unjabbed. I unfortunately regret to inform Austin Aries that I recently got several vaccines. So... yeah. So I'm only left-handed. So him and I have that, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for us to work. So it goes on. I check every box. I'm a walking statistical anomaly. I represent just, Joe, do you have your math ready?
I'm scrambling to finish the math, but I think he did it for us.
He did. I represent just 0.0008% of the world.
The math checks out. If you have an IQ over 135,
yep,
you're vegan, you're left-handed, and you're unjabbed. Hell yeah, man. Stick it to Fauci. You are part of the 0.0008%. He's not wrong. He's not lying. And that is a beast tweet. But here's the thing.
I didn't know it kept going. I just found out it goes longer.
You got to expand the tweet.
I just found out that see more exists. Oh, my God. This is all new to me. All right, here we go. See more. So I expect to be misunderstood. I expect to be ridiculed. I expect to create controversy. I'm not like 99.9992% of you. 5 years ago, the NPCs tried to cancel me.
It's so good. It's
NPCs. So good. 5 days from now, I return. Page break to reclaim what those who never understood me tried to take.
Page break.
It goes to a different line. I don't know why.
It does. It keeps
There's
going.
an M dash and then it's a different line. It's a bad use of an M dash. There's no need for an M dash and then a line break. But hey, I'm the 0.0008% of the world, and he's the 90. Or no, I'm the 99.99992%, and he's the 0.0008%. I'm not coming back to make you comfortable. I'm not coming back to shake it up. I'm coming back to wake you up.
Yes.
Skull emoji, the quote, greatest man that ever lived, quote, is dead. Crown, the king of controversy, is born. And for those who've been afraid to say what needs to be said, the KOC, king of controversy, will be your voice. For those afraid to face the truth, you've got 5 days. Point on a map, September 13th, Dallas, Texas. Ticket emoji at MLW, the Opera Cup. Fire emoji. It's just the beginning. hashtag Austin Aries, hashtag King of Controversy, hashtag the KOC, hashtag MLW, hashtag Pro Wrestler, hashtag Pro Wrestling, and then hashtag Hungry to the number change.
My guy with the hashtags. It's not Instagram. Take it easy. He's like a butt model on Instagram, hashtag and everything. I mean, take it easy with the hashtags. No one's going to use any of those hashtags.
No one's going to click hashtag Pro Wrestler and find out what's going on. Yeah, it's
hashtag travel, hashtag selfie, hashtag hot mom, hashtag booty, hashtag apricot, hashtag, like that's what he's doing. He's doing the Instagram 100 hashtags.
This is all building up, by the way, to an opening round apricot match with Kushida on the taped portion of MLW Fightland. That's what all this is for.
It is, but I'm sorry, it's a beast tweet.
You got to go to this show. Come on, that's not going to get you to the building.
Look, listen, in all seriousness, we've needed a pro wrestler who is finally willing to be a truth teller and just
who is hungry,
tell it like it is.
Hungry to change, yes.
No one has tried the truth teller gimmick in pro wrestling over the last 5 to 10 years. No one's tried that. So he's here to do it. I mean, and he's part of the 0.008%. So who better? Who better than Austin Aries? Listen, sometimes you need someone to just tell it like it is, and they're not afraid to let the chips fall. This man is unjabbed. You know how brave that is?
He's 20%, only 20% remain unjabbed.
Do you know how brave that is to be unjabbed? I mean, to tell people
about it, no less. I mean, that's the big thing is like, to say, hey, just so you know, I don't get any vaccines. It's like people don't say that a lot. You never hear it from anybody. Nobody ever tells you at the earliest possibility or an easiest chance to tell you that they're. So yeah, for him to stick his neck out, NPCs try to cancel him, but he's going to stick his neck out and let you know. No. I expect him to be misunderstood. I expect him to be ridiculed. We're not. And by the way, we're not ridiculing or misunderstanding him. We hear him loud and clear. Sure. This entire segment. So,
I mean, this is a guy who eats so much quinoa that you just have to listen to him.
Yeah.
He's a truth teller. He eats the quinoa. He's unjabbed. I mean, this is a guy who just gets
left-handed. I mean, that's cool as fuck. Yeah.
And he's exceedingly smart. 2%, top 2% intelligence. Okay. So, I look, we needed this in pro wrestling. Someone to just rail against the agenda, what they're telling us to do. He doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't.
He's the 2%.
He's the king of controversy. He's the king of the greatest man that ever lived. That dude's dead.
He's dead. That guy's dead.
The king of controversy.
I'm not a great man anymore. I am the king of controversy. I am no longer a great man, he says.
I'm trying to see who's on hashtag the KOC because nobody. Nobody. The other tweet was hashtag the KOC is from October 23rd, 2022, and it's just some party or something. I don't know what's going on here, but
yeah, no one is. Yeah, I mean. It's amazing that after this many years, people still don't understand hashtags or how to use them.
No.
It's incredible.
Well, now these companies don't even use them anymore, to be honest. Like, none of them use them at all.
Who the fuck is clicking a hashtag?
Nobody. And Instagram barely uses them either.
When's the last time you clicked a hashtag?
Never.
Just now to look up
to me to look up the KOC, and guess what? It was not fruitful. The click was not fruitful.
Hashtag Lynchburg, Tennessee. What was that one? The event?
No, it was Pikesville, Kentucky. Hashtag Pikesville, Kentucky.
Hashtag Pikesville.
For the OVW show. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. No, I'm all about Austin Aries now. Look, I didn't need more than a little push. I didn't need a shove. So I'm all about it. Listen. I'm unironically into this return of Austin Aries.
Yeah, in 6 weeks when you can watch the TV taping portion of MLW Fightland, you're going to be really fucking excited. Yeah,
that guy was an awesome pro wrestler in his peak.
He was really good. I mean, good dumb jock wrestler too.
Yeah, truly outstanding.
One of the hallmarks for me of a dumb jock wrestler is the guy that does the suicide dive and falls into the crowd while he does it. Mm-hmm. And who did a better suicide dive for a long time than Austin Aries?
Well, Davey Richards.
And then Davey Richards became the patron saint of it because he would just not even hit the guy he was attending, and he would just go into the 8th row. Like he'd glance at Eddie Edwards, but fly into the 8th row. Like Austin would hit the opponent, but then also fly over the guardrail. And then Davey took it a notch above and just went right in for the crowd.
I don't know. I got to tell you, if you book Davey Richards versus Austin Aries for this weekend down the street, I'd buy a ticket.
Well, yeah. I mean, that sounds like
I'd buy a ticket to that. I'd go watch those two guys. It's the king of controversy.
The KOC in the flesh.
Listen, who knows what he's going to say? You know? Was he part of
control the narrative? Control your narrative?
Seems like he'd be a control your narrative guy.
Seems like he'd be a pretty good I don't know if he was, but
was he in the yell at me room? Pay $50 to fucking yell at me? Did he do that? Did anyone actually do it?
I would love to know. We got to find a guy and interview him on the show. The guy who paid
the $50
to yell
at EC3
at Braun Strowman at EC3 for
to give him a piece of his mind. Right? What a great concept. Oh, you don't like me? You don't think I'm the greatest man who ever lived? Come to the booth and yell at me.
Right. Pay me $45 and tell me that.
Yeah. Debate me. I got to tell you, I hope he wins the Opera Cup. I hope he goes all the way. I don't know what my IQ is either. I'm right-handed. What are the other ones? I'm definitely not vegan. I did get the first year. Are we far enough removed where it's not a political thing and I can talk about it? Like, I did get the first COVID thing, but I never went back. I didn't go back.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm good. I'll roll those dice. I think I'm okay with that. My wife got the COVID shot and it made her sick for a week.
That's how it happened with this household too. I was fine. I never cared, and that's why I still get it because I'm like whatever.
Yeah.
It never bothered me at all. But for her, she got deathly sick, and I was like, okay, this is worse because she got COVID and felt better, and I was like, maybe you should just get COVID. You're not as bad.
Well, that's what my wife said. Yeah. She said the shot made me feel so bad that her logic was, if I get COVID, it can't be worse than this, and I'm young and I'm fit and I'm healthy, so fuck it. If I get COVID, I get COVID. It can't be worse than what I just went through. So she's like, I don't want to get it anymore, and I was like, all right, then don't.
Is she left-handed? Because she might be a statistical anomaly with.
She is not left-handed.
Ah, well.
No. She is.
I don't think she's a vegan either. So, all right, she's out.
Definitely not a vegan. No.
We're all just normies. We're all just normies in Austin's world. You know what I mean? It's
we can't be as great as Austin Aries.
No, there's always a mark against you. It's like I have one of the four. You know what I mean? That's my IQ. I don't know if it's higher. It's probably not. My IQ is probably not higher. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't think so.
I took 2 IQ tests when I was a kid. And they were both, I don't even remember what the numbers were, but they were like 20 points apart. And we were all like, well, how does that work? And they're like, oh, it always comes out a little different. Well, then they're like, what the fuck is the point of this thing?
This is a very stupid test then, yeah.
Yeah, like, why, it's like, this sounds pretty dumb.
I thought they were so low that they walked over to you and they're like, here's a pipe. You should learn how to...
Here's a shovel. Learn how to dig holes, kid.
Right.
Yeah. No,
here's a welding mask. You should learn how to use
it. You better learn a trade. No, because in high school I wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't do any work, and I just
a perfect Gen Xer, a perfect representation of Generation X.
Yeah, I just figured out how to game it because 1/5 of our final grade was a combination of the midterm and the final. So I knew if I can gain enough points on the midterm and final, I could just coast with D's the rest of the year, just pass and get my. So, and I explained that to them, and then they wanted to find out why I think the way I do, why I'm an idiot. So they put me through these round of IQ tests and all this shit. And then, like I said, I took the thing twice and it was so far. I'm like, well, how is the score so drastically different? They're like, oh, well, that's normal. That always happens. I'm like, well, then how can you put any stock into it? Shouldn't it give the same fucking score every time? Like, what if I take it a third time? Is that going to be another 20 points off the fucking current range? Like, what does it mean? So I don't know. But Austin Aries, maybe he took it 20 times and he got over 135 every time. That's why he's in the top 2%, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
He's gifted.
That's why we're here.
You're not.
Yeah, that's why we're here fucking around on a stupid podcast, and he's
and he's
in the opening round of the Opera Cup against Kushida, in Richland Hills, North Richland Hills, Texas. So
yeah, so my gaming of the system worked. I mean, I remember I did have to cheat on my final math exam. On the there was this exchange student. And I told him, because I knew they were going to seat us alphabetically. And I told him, hey, look, man, I got to cheat off you, So I gave him $20 and he just kept his arm away. Because it was the old number 2 pencil, fill in the dot deal.
Yeah, Scantron, the Scantron.
Yeah, so I just would glance over and it was very easy to see whether he did A, B, C, D, and I did a couple different because, we're sitting next to each other. So you got to sell it. You can't have identical answers and the same one's wrong, right? Because they might pick up on that. So, I just wanted to do enough to get like a B or whatever because I knew that kid was going to get an A and it worked out. Yeah, I had to sweat that one out. But, the other ones were no problem. But
Hope
the
he's doing
math,
well.
I mean, fuck that. I like fucking whatever math class I was in. What math do you take as a senior? I don't even remember.
I don't know. I was so bad. I was so bad
something.
at math that I don't know. I was in a lesser. I was not in. I took.
You were algebra 2. You were an algebra 2
I was in
kid?
whatever I was supposed to be in, and then like a couple weeks into the class, the teacher was like, "Hi, you should probably not be in this one." And I'm like, "I don't think I should be in this one." He's like, "Yeah, no, you should probably be in another one." And I said, I think you're right. I think you're right. Because I was a good student and everything else. So they were like, oh, we'll put him in a high math. And I'm like, no, why don't you, I'll take honors this and honors that. But math, put me in the stupid stuff.
They put you in math 4 where you were still doing long division in 12th grade. Yeah. Which I get, like in hindsight, is fine. Like it made
that's
no
all I
difference in your
needed.
life.
Yeah, I didn't need any of the other shit that I ever learned. Like, you're never gonna have a calculator. No calculators. You're gonna live life, and you're not gonna have a calculator. Oh yeah, motherfucker! I got a calculator in my pocket every second of my life now. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and you should send those Iceland pictures and say, and I go to Iceland. Every
you
summer,
motherfucker.
So
what do you know? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, math is pretty dumb.
Stupid.
It's pretty fucking dumb. Yeah.
Well, also dumb. All Japan's Kings Road / Royal Road tournament. Here's how the order of events went this week. Is you texted me on, I believe, Tuesday and said, hey, are you going to watch the All Japan tournament? I'm all caught up. I'll do a plus. And I, stupid, said, you know what? We haven't talked about All Japan in a while. I'll watch it. And you said, there's not much. And I said, no, it's okay. I'll watch it. You went, are you sure? And I went, yeah, it's fine. You go, all right, it's not very good. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. No problem.
I told you it wasn't
I should have just let you do the fucking Flagship Plus.
Well,
a lot of my week was spent watching these matches. And I will tell you, Joe, after that first night, I was like, I don't know what Joe's talking about. These were really good matches. Nomura and Aoyagi was great. I thought Daisuke Sakamoto and Rookie Doi was good. Kento Miyahara and Kengo Mishima was fine, but I was like,
those were I reviewed those the week before on the Flagship. You didn't even have to watch those.
Oh fuck, really? I don't even remember you doing that.
You were here. You were on the fucking show.
I must have been zoning out.
I talked about all 3 of those matches.
Oh hell, well, they were fun. I'm glad I watched them because I was like,
I had pages of notes that I read off of.
I don't remember any of that. It's been a long couple. It's been a long couple weeks. Let me
cut you a break. Okay, maybe you weren't locked in, but fuck, man, I gave extensive reviews of that night of the Royal Road from Cork and Hall. I buried the attendance, everything.
Yeah, it was good. That was good stuff. Yeah, I really have zero recollection of that. I'm usually pretty good about remembering, but yeah, that night was over, and I'm like, I don't know what Joe's talking about. This is a pretty good tournament so far. And then night 2, night 3, night 4, and all that followed. So night 2 kicked off with the Big O, Odyssey Jones, and let me tell you, I knew Oscar Robertson, the Big O. You, sir, are no Big O, Odyssey Jones. This guy stinks. Holy shit. This match, Odyssey and Hideki Suzuki. Oh my God.
Well, my takeaway wasn't that Odyssey was bad. And by the way, he's Odyssey, sir.
All right, just Odyssey. No Jones, just Odyssey. Yes, sorry.
2 D's, 2 S's, 2 Y's. Odyssey.
Are you Tennessee Lee all of a sudden?
I could be. You want him to enter? You want Ron Fuller? You want Ron Fuller to review these matches?
Sure. Yeah, why not?
I could see if he's available. All right, maybe Ron Fuller will come review. I'll see if he watched the matches. Maybe.
Well, Tennessee Lee, for the record, Tennessee Lee was Rob Fuller.
There's Rob Fuller, but yes. Ron Fuller is who makes cameos.
Correct.
On the show.
Yes, he's our friend. You can text him and see if he watched the Odu tournament or whatever and find out.
Yeah,
I bet he did.
We will see if the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller did in fact if he's locked into the All Japan Railroad tournament
with that smirk on his face, the little Ron Fuller smirk,
with the Ron Fuller smirk on his face, who for some reason sounds like his brother Rob Fuller when he talks on our show, but it's Ron Fuller.
Yeah, that's him.
Tennessee stud Ron Fuller, 7 feet, probably the same giant hog as his brother. Why wouldn't he have a giant?
Of course,
hog
I would assume he would. I would assume he would.
I would think that both Fuller brothers are they're packed. They're packed and loaded. You know what? You know the one guy, he's the taller one. You know, anyway, we'll see. But Odyssey versus Hideki Suzuki was an interesting match because I have never in my life seen Hideki Suzuki sell as much for a human being as he sold in this match. And not only did Hideki Suzuki do nothing but sell for this guy, he then did the JOB.
Yeah.
I mean, he sold and sold and sold and with little hope spots, sell some more. And I'm like, oh, Hideki's definitely winning this match. But no, Odyssey won anyway. Hideki Suzuki must fucking love this man. He gets him booked. He makes sure he works with him in his first match to make sure he looks. And boy, did he make sure he looked.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And he's why he's here, by the way. If people don't know the connection, Hideki Suzuki obviously was in NXT for a while, and that's why a couple of these shit bums are in All Japan right now. So,
yeah. So, and he sold for this guy, and then he put him over in the end, and they couldn't have attempted to get Odyssey over stronger in this entire. I mean, this was crazy. I mean, they must. This guy's getting a God's honest push. Odyssey.
Oh, so yeah, he's a part of he's the muscle in the big Havoc unit, the unit that's transforming All Japan Pro Wrestling. Havoc, Shitaro Oshino, Odyssey, and Zion.
Yes. They are all in on Zion. They are all in on Odyssey. They're in a new heel stable. And he basically had a 13-minute squash match over Hideki Suzuki. Craziness. Just wild. Fucking craziness. And then Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Shotaro Ashino had a main event that I don't know. Could you have a duller yet more competent match than this?
That's exactly. I mean, my notes were like, I think that was good, but I don't know because I'm so bored. It was just
it's just so dull.
Yeah.
I mean, he just puts on side headlocks and. Like, it's very clear that Davey Boy Smith Jr. enjoys working in New Japan.
Yes.
But it is not reflected in his work at all. The guy could not be lazier in this company. But he he talks it up in media. He does the I love Shin Nihon, like the fucking, not Shin Nihon, whatever the word is for All Japan.
Yeah.
And he does but his matches are just dull.
He just can't. Yeah. It's just boring as fuck. Yeah.
Like, is he physically limited? Like, what's his
I think
problem?
I think he loves All Japan Pro Wrestling, but he only watched like mid-70s All Japan Pro Wrestling and is like, yep, that's what they want there.
Destroyer.
Right? Yeah. He watched the Destroyer.
He thinks that's how he has to work.
He's like, all right, if that's what they want. And it's like, well, no. The 90s. He didn't watch anything from from 1983 to 1998. He'd watched nothing. And he only watched 1974 All Japan. And is like, well, that's what they want over there in Japan, so I better do it for him. So
maybe he's really into Matt D's phone notes and just thinks he has to do nothing in order to be a good worker.
Right. It's the negative space. He's really big at hitting the negative space a lot. And let me tell you, a lot of negative space in Davey Boy Smith Jr. matches. A lot.
Yeah, I don't know. But that match couldn't have been duller.
No.
And we move on the next night to Kobe Sambo Hall.
Back to the gills, let me tell you.
Yeah, we're not drawing hot crowds here in the I can't remember. It's not New Japan is Shin Nihon because of course, are you a Shin Nihon freak?
Right.
I mean, what happened to that rapper who inspired that line?
I don't know.
From Joel. He inspired the line. because that's his tagline on the commercial. Are you a Shin Nihon freak? Because he got it from the rap from that guy. But I don't know what happened to the New Japan rapper.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him either.
He might be listening. He used to be a listener.
He used to be a listener for a while. Yeah, he might still be at it. But
if you're the New Japan rapper, show yourself. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to do an MLW rap. And I want you to work in Austin Aries being the 0.002%. That's what I want you to do. Ryuki Honda defeats Kuma Arashi.
A lot of yelling. A lot of yelling in this match. They're just screaming at each
I was hoping
other.
you would take this one.
Yeah, a lot of yelling. Did you skip this one?
No, I watched everything.
Yeah,
what do you mean? I was going to do a Flagship Plus on the whole fucking thing.
They it wasn't very good, and they just decided that the only thing that was getting over in front of this crowd is when they screamed at each other, so they would just do a move and they go, ah, and then the other guy would go, ah, and then that's what we did for 15 minutes. So
Zen
Nihon, that's right.
I love Zen Nihon Pro Wrestling. He does it at the end of every show. You know?
He does, yeah. He does the Antonio Inoki sign off, but doesn't have quite the same
Zen
connection to the crowd as one Antonio Inoki had.
They kind of just look at him.
Right? They're like, what is this guy doing? Yeah.
Yeah, they're just looking at him.
Because he cuts those promos. He gets on the mic and he's like breathing heavily, so he's always like,
yeah.
All Japan Pro Wrestling. I love you. I love Zen Nihon.
I love Zen Nihon. He puts the fist up.
Right. It's just so weird.
And he's always like, it was a tough battle. But I had to overcome. You know, jeez. Once he all out of breath, all he did was a side headlock for 7 minutes.
I know.
You guys gassed. Just totally gassed.
I love how long he's been here. I love that people thought he was going to be around for a couple months. There was one little
tour.
thing. He's still here. He's just hanging around. He probably represents 45% of their entire talent budget too, which is so good.
So Zion defeats Hokuto Omori. A little bit of comedy here with Hokuto Omori and the boys.
Yeah, Cyber Kong, FKA Cyber Kong.
Cyber Kong out there whooping it up and being silly. You know, I don't know what happened to All Japan, but they're
pop and light.
No longer
so much pop and so much light.
They're just not interested in giving people good matches anymore.
No.
This is a horrible promotion to watch now.
It's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad. Nomura and Aoyagi was great. Daisuke Sakamoto and Naruki Doi was good. And here's the problem with that.
Ahead, sir.
No. I'm going back to night one, talking about matches that are good. Here's the problem. Okay. Here's the problem with that. So Nomura and Aoyagi went out there and had a great match. 16 minutes. It was great. Yeah. The fans loved it. Everybody was excited. Believe it or not, when you have good matches, fans get excited about it. And as I got done watching these first 5 nights of this tournament, I am left with, how in the fucking world are Daisuke Sakamoto and Naruki Doi still 2 of your top 5 workers? How bad of a company are you right now that these guys who are pretty close, they're not washed. Naruki Doi is still pretty good. Daisuke Sakamoto's pretty close to wash.
On the way down. Yeah, he's on the way down.
These guys are both. I mean, Naruki Doi is okay. He's not what he's still very good, but he wasn't. He used to be one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet Earth.
In the world. And now he knows the shortcuts to take to have a good match.
Right.
He's a crafty veteran.
Right. And Sakamoto, I think, too. He understands he can play the hits or whatever. These guys are still in this company after 5 nights of watching this shit, the 2 of the top 5 guys in this company. It's those 2, Nomura, Aoyagi, and Kento right now. And now, obviously, Yuma Anzai is out or gone, or I don't know what the fuck's going on with Yuma Anzai. But, those 5 guys represent everybody that's good in this company, and everybody else fucking sucks. It's rough.
Anzai is such a big loss when you start watching these shows.
It's gutting,
around.
And what's he doing? He's not doing anything, right? Everybody thought he was going to be in the N1 or something. He just was like, I don't want to be here for this.
He's probably fucking off to New Japan, more than likely.
Yeah. Probably. He's probably calling Yuji and seeing, hey, I know I always said I was,
Yeah.
Can I come maybe? That'd be
He's
great.
calling up Yuji Nagata and going, I love Shin Nihon.
Oh, God.
Yuji's going, are you a Shin Nihon freak? He's going, yes.
Yes, I am. I assure
yes.
you. Yes. Despite my previous Zen, I assure you. Oh, my God.
Rene Yabe and Jun Saito. Oh, no. They go 20 minutes. So, Rene Yabe, look.
This is one of them. I have never heard a quieter crowd in my entire life. Sorry, it was the other night. You know what? It wasn't this one. It was the Zion.
It wasn't this one.
This one was fine. Yeah, sorry. I'll wait to bury it.
But the problem with Rene Yabe is like he'll wrestle competently, and then he uses that submission, and I'm just out. I'm out of it. I cannot take that thing seriously. It never even looks like the hold is applied. It looks like what is it? Why does he can someone please tell this man to stop doing that submission hold? Who told him it looks good?
I don't know who told him. I don't know who told Rene Yabe anything because he just the whole it's all bad. The face, can you smile? Can you open your mouth? Can you cheer? Can you just emote in some way anyway? He can't.
He's a complete zilch. He's an NPC. He's just, he's a guy in Grand Theft Auto who just, walks down the street. You're like, should I stab him and see if there's money that pops out when he dies? Like, that's what he is. And you punch him and you step on him until he's dead, and you hope the $12 pops out of him. And you're like, and you have 1 star now because you were chasing that $12 that popped out of his pocket. And now you're like, great, now I have to go hide in an alley for 45 seconds until this star passes, right? Was the $12 really worth it? That's Rene Yabe's career in the weirdest way to describe possible. The guy's just a giant zilch. 20 minutes of this.
All bad. All those 3 of those matches were terrible. Night 4, we came back. This was in Shinkiba, right? Shinkiba first ring. They have an announced attendance of 339, which is probably about right, I'd say. I don't know. That's a tough number in Shinkiba first ring. So you had Ryuki Honda and Zen Nihon Freak, Davey Boy Smith Jr., 15 minutes and 50 seconds, boring, nothing happening. And then you had, I swear to God, the quietest match I have ever heard in my entire life. I thought it was a COVID crowd. Again, Rene Yabe versus Zion. They did the thing where this is the main event, so they come out. The referee does the thing where he gets the guys to both sides, and he goes, all right, ding, 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 and they ring the bell. And normally the crowd goes, nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
They zoomed in, they zoomed out, the crowd made no noise. And you're like, okay, well, whatever. They'll get into it. Then these fuckers proceeded to wrestle for 22 minutes, never doing anything that was ever exciting at all. You could hear a pin drop. There was a baby near the hard camera, and you could hear the baby being played with and sucking on a pacifier. It was insane.
All right. Yeah, it was. Look, it was 42 minutes of Rene Yabe between the 2 shows, and
too much.
Like me, you watched them back to back. That's a lot of Rene Yabe.
Way too much Rene Yabe. Yeah, and who told Rene Yabe and Zion to go 22:02?
And that's the thing. Zion isn't good, and they left him in there for 22 minutes with another guy who isn't very good. And I don't know.
And then Rene Yabe gets the win, and it's like 1, 2, 3.
All right.
And then they move on. It's like, that's it. It's like,
I don't, God. Rene Yabe's a funny one because there's random nights where the crowd seems to respond to him, but most nights there's no crowd. He doesn't, because again, he doesn't have the kind of charisma that connects with the crowd. He doesn't have charisma at all.
It doesn't have any charisma, which is the problem.
So 42 minutes of that guy over the course of 2 shows it's a little rough. It's a little rough. And then I guess the show on the 6th had Daisuke Sekimoto over Odyssey, but the thing is they had, Odyssey, it's clear that it was the end of the road for him in the tournament, but it's very obvious they like him and he's coming back and he's probably getting pushed. Daisuke Sekimoto, I don't know why they're giving him this deep run. I guess to put over who's he running into?
Let me see. Let me get the brackets here. I know you guys are all dying to get the
because Kento Miyahara, Naoya Nomura wasn't anything special, but it was like,
oh my god, it was like it was like the Wrestle Kingdom main event compared to a lot of the other stuff
compared to all
watched.
the rest of the shit that
So Kento and it'll be semifinals are set. Ren Ayabe versus Ryuki Honda, and then Kento Miyahara versus Daisuke Sakamoto. So he'll be.
So Sakamoto's job is to put over Miyahara,
right.
And it's not the worst idea because they probably want to save. I can't believe I'm going to utter this sentence. They probably want to save Odyssey Miyahara for a bigger spot. And, Sakamoto has the name value and everything for Kento to beat.
It might sell a ticket or two, which is very advantageous if you're All Japan Pro Wrestling right now.
Yeah. So, and then Ryuki Honda and Ren Ayabe on the other side. So we see if Kento can get a great match out of Ren Ayabe, right? I think. Well, I guess it's not a lock. He's going to beat Ryuki Honda, but this has not been a very good tournament.
No, what is the state of All Japan Pro Wrestling? We used to talk about how it's a glorified indie, and you watch it now, and it's just an indie at this point. You know what I mean? Like there was a while where it felt like it still had some fumes, and now it's just like this is just an indie.
Well, here's the thing: they had a really good couple of years there where it was reliably good pro wrestling, and they've completely given up on that. And that started last year, where it's just like the house style is really hard to describe for people who haven't seen it. It's low effort. There's a lot of comedy. And believe me, this isn't like, it's not over the top DDT style comedy. It's not like that, but it's comedy nonetheless. It's like a lot of just antics and stuff you're supposed to chuckle at. And a lot of we're not taking ourselves too seriously. I think that's the best way to put it. And then when you have a Saito as the Triple Crown champion, you know you're not going to get super high-end matches, although he's capable of good matches. And then the other guys, there's good wrestlers on the roster like Yuma Aoyagi who aren't really putting in their full effort because they're adapting to this house style where they're just kind of having half-ass matches and they're going for yucks. And it's a really weird promotion right now. It's not fun to watch at all. Where for a while there, 23, 24, part of 22 and 20, was it 22 and 23? Or I
think it was 22 and 23. Yeah, by 24, it was already starting to fall off. But 22 and 23 were really good as Anzai was kind of rising and Yuma Aoyagi was rising and Kenta was still in his prime. And it was a serious promotion that was elevating a couple young stars. So it was like, oh, okay, we're watching the ascension here. And those guys ascended. And then now I don't know what the fuck's happened, but it's just, and every new person they bring in is just like, they're either just some shitbag dude that's been around Japan for a while, or they're a former NXT guy that sucks. And it's just like, what is this? What is this? Who's
Zion
this
and Odyssey? I will say this. Odyssey's work didn't blow me away or anything, but I like him better. I liked the matches I saw with him here better than anything I saw him do in WWE. I thought in WWE, he was too over the top, and it was, I don't know. I had no interest in him in WWE. Not like I'm like clamoring for more Odyssey matches in All Japan, but the energy is just different enough to where I just think he's more interesting in this setting. I don't know. I'm looking for any positives.
To
latch onto.
It's going to be rough, and the problem is
he's going to be.
Yeah, we have to watch this whole tournament now, but I think it should get a little bit. No, Ren Ayabe's still there, so never mind.
Well, there's only 3 more matches, and one of them will be the final. So the final will be good at minimum, I would think, because Kento will be in it.
It's just so sad to see Kento, too, come out to like 300 people.
Yeah.
You know, the the music builds up, and it's just like he comes out, and I'm just like, brother, there's like 300 people here in Shinkiba First Ring. It's just, it's fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, they still get up for him.
Oh, yeah. The crowd. I mean, everybody in that crowd that didn't make one bit of noise when Renayabe was in the ring. All, Kento, Kento. They're there to see the star.
Well, Renayabe comes out in his big robe and this elaborate entrance to nothing in front of 200 people. It's actually a little sad to watch.
It's very sad, yeah.
You know, this promotion's not in a good place at all.
It's very, very rough right now. Yeah.
If we weren't covering, it'd be hand waved at this point. But we cover it. Mm-hmm. It's a place we cover. So I think the semis and the final have a chance to be pretty good. So we see if it can improve from there. But again, that's the thing. They don't seem like they want the action to be at the forefront here anymore. They want to be something else entirely. They want to be like this half-ass sports entertainment place, and that's kind of the trend.
Like, who's that serving? I just don't understand. I feel like that style of wrestling is so plentiful in so many different places. Like, what
even
audience
in Japan,
are you serving?
Noah does it. Noah's obviously doing it. New Japan does it in a different way with all the heel stuff. It's like it feels like there's a slice in the market to just be a wrestling promotion. But they're all trying this in some form, all a little different, but I don't know. Look, the bottom line is All Japan right now is the shits. There's no other way to put it. It's the shits.
It's garbage, yeah. We need Nakajima back. I've declared whatever it takes. We need Nakajima back. Stiffen guys.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. I mean,
no.
He's burned every bridge, man.
All of them. He's still gleating. I think he's still in GLEAT, right?
Is he still gleating?
I think he's still gleating. Yeah, I think he's still gleating. But
I don't know what GLEAT is. That doesn't exist. I've never heard of it.
It's true. It really does. At this point, now that they're not free on YouTube, they really don't exist, which is fine.
Can I take that victory lap? Can I take the world's lamest victory lap on that?
The easiest and lamest victory lap ever. Yeah, go for
it. Was I correct to never pay attention to GLEAT? I mean, can we just give that one to me? Please? Are they still doing where half the shows are like fake UWF fights?
You know what? They're not free on YouTube anymore. That used to be, I would do the Flagship and I would see like a 3-hour GLEAT video and I'd be like, oh, perfect. I'll just watch this in the side.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I think so. The UWF / GLEAT shows and like half the show would be UWF rules and I don't know. I have no idea.
Is T-Hawk still there?
No, I think they started a break from Shima. I want to say that T-Hawk is like done with, I don't know who fucking knows.
He's been threatening to retire for a long time.
Yeah. You know what? Tomahawk TT, why don't you just do that? It's fine at this point.
I mean, he might be for all I know.
Yeah,
he
probably.
Pull it up. Let's pull it up. Pull it up. And he is... No, he's still gleating it up.
Is he still gleating? Okay, well, good for...
Yeah, he just worked there a couple days ago. T-Hawk over, guess who? El Lindemann. Wow.
Wow, what an original. Whoa. Really? I got to watch that. I got to seek that match out. Unbelievable.
Yep, so... And then there's that GLEAT G, like the spinoff of GLEAT.
Yes. Yeah, well,
what are we doing? These are money washes, right? I mean, they're
that money has to be so washed at this point. How much can you keep washing that money? But yes.
Is Nakajima still there?
I am almost positive he still is. Let me double check.
Let's see. Yeah, he just defended.
God, how sad is that?
He's the G-Rex champion. He just defended it.
God damn it.
Against Junji. I'm not familiar with Zhao Junji.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who Zhao Junji is either.
He's he was an OWE guy.
Okay. All right. See?
So he's another. This is Shima. All Shima guys.
So weird. Yeah, he is still like regular. He's wrestling constantly in GLEAT, and it's like no out of sight, out of mind.
The UWF title's still a thing. You know who the champion is?
The UWF champion. Oh God, is it? It's Nakajima, isn't it? I bet, right?
Yeah, he holds them all. They just give him all belts.
They just gave him all the titles. Yeah, fine.
Fuck it, you just have every belt.
Fine. Why not? Hey, why not?
Yeah. So he's the everything champion.
Good for Nakajima. God, what a terrible end to that guy's career.
How many people go to these shows? They just. Oh, okay. So Nakajima's big G-Rex title match against Junji, it packed 240 fans into Nishitetsu Hall in Fukuoka. Why is Puro the shits, right?
So it's bad.
What a horrible scene. And, I talked about this like a year and a half ago. Like, this is like the worst period of Japanese wrestling that I've ever experienced, I think. It's just, there's nothing. It's the shits.
If you're not watching Stardom, it is the absolute shits. Let me tell you, there's horrible.
Just nothing happening.
I admittedly don't do a ton. I check in with Dragon Gate a little bit, but I don't get really juiced up by a lot of Dragon Gate. Some does land for me. I don't watch any DDT. I know some people have said DDT is interesting this year, but they're using a lot of idols and stuff. It's like the promotion's kind of weird. But I never vibe with DDT, and I'm never probably ever going to vibe with DDT. But among the companies that I watch pretty regularly, it's just it's nothing, man. And it, like, when we first during the peak of the show, All Japan had some juice, Noah had some juice, Big Japan had some juice, 0-1 would show up occasionally, have some juice. New Japan was New Japan.
Excuse me, sir. Right now is the peak of this show. Excuse me.
That's true. Well, I meant like the peak of us talking about about Puro, I guess I should have said.
Yeah, there was a time where we covered Big Japan, DDT, All Japan, Noah, New Japan. We always had a big show to talk about, and they were normally, even if they weren't good, there was something to talk about, and there was good stuff on them. When Wrestle One started back up, when sort of the peak of when the New Japan was experimenting with the worldwide streaming and everything was airing somewhere like via pay-per-view, like there's just nothing. Japan is so dry and so bad right now. None of it's interesting.
I've heard the N1 without Ozawa is pretty terrible too. I haven't
started it yet. Obviously, I'm going to watch it, but so I can't comment because I haven't started it yet. I'll probably start it this weekend. But I mean, it's bad. I mean, there's just nothing that excites you at all. This is the worst, because even during some other down periods in Japan, there was always something to sink your teeth into. There's nothing to sink your teeth into right now.
That's rough. That's rough out there. But there you go. That is the Royal Road / Kings Road / All Japan Pro Wrestling single elimination tournament that resembles the New Japan Cup. Do not recommend. Watch night one if you want, but do not recommend anything else from that. But that is it for us here on the Flagship. I think we nailed every single topic there. We went across it. I mean, this is a big show. We went in America. We went to Mexico. We went to Japan. We talked about Saudi Arabia. We did it all here. Big time show. A lot of topics covered on this one. So, all right. That is going to be it for us. By the way, flagshippatreon.com for all of our bonus audio and written content. I've been doing some written news updates. Lately, you do the Thursday Dynamite reviews every single week. We obviously have the Flagship Live. If you want to listen to the Flagship every Thursday night live, you can do that. You can participate in the No Dopes chat room. That's always a blast. If you go on our Discord, you get bonus rooms as well if you are a member of the Flagship Patreon. Plus, you get access to, again, all of our bonus audio, Tour of the Territories, that Changed the World series where I'm going to review and recap AEW All Out 2020, plus Instant Reaction Lives, bonus written content, columns, Jovember to remember. By the way, Eddie Gilbert got some love from Tony Khan after Dynamite went off the air today.
Oh, really?
So yeah, apparently he did a little tribute to Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. So good time to remind people of the Jovember to remember, the life, career, and death of Eddie Gilbert. Very special episode of Jovember to remember. So that is in the archives as well. So if you're a subscriber to flagshippatreon.com, you can listen to that. But yeah, that's it for us here. So that is Joe. I'm Rich. We'll talk to you guys next time on the Flagship Podcast. Take care. Bye.
Hi, I'm Andrew Rich. And if you're like me, you look at the state of modern wrestling discourse and think, wow, what a cesspool. That's why I'm here to tell you about Music of the Mat Remix. That's right, your favorite wrestling music podcast is back with a new format, where I bring on a guest and we play songs related to wrestling-themed topics. It could be a wrestling reference, a wrestling concept, a wrestling pun, things of that nature. Now you might be saying, Andrew, that is a very, very tenuous connection to pro wrestling on a wrestling podcast network. Is this just an excuse to hang out with your friends and talk about music and ignore the rest of the wrestling landscape? Yes. Yes, it is. So listen to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.